Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And this is...
Awful.
The Nerdy.
The Wordy.
The Book Club. Welcome back for another week of Her Rhythm of War.
There's gotta be there's gotta be a rhythm that is the rhythm of war, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the American national anthem.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
What?
Fair. You know what?
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we raise.
Yeah.
No,
Rockets,
I
red
can't,
glare.
wait,
Yeah.
I can't get the lyrics right if I'm just saying it.
Wait, really?
Oh, say... Yeah. It's so much weirder in my brain. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light. But if I think if I sing it, it'll be there. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed by the twilight's last... I can't say it as a monologue.
I know it better than you do, and I'm not American.
I think it's the way it's in my brain.
Sure.
Like, I think that there are songs that I've sung a million times where if you're like, don't sing it, just say the words, I would be like, I don't know what comes next. But as soon as I'm singing it, it's like the alphabet, right? Like, even when I'm just saying the alphabet, I still am thinking the rhythm of it.
Oh, sure. I mean, yeah, that's just like iconic.
Can we talk about this real quick, chat, before we get into Rhythm of War? You know what drives me crazy?
What?
They don't teach LMNOP anymore.
What do you mean?
Like, kids these days learning the alphabet, learn it A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R.
What? No, they don't. No, that is a lie.
Because
you are lying straight to my face.
No, education people were like, it is like the rhythm of LMNO is making children not able to pronounce the letters right. Because they're saying LMNO instead of saying LMNO. And so in order to get kids to actually like practice saying the sounds of the letters, they've changed it to...
Just tell the shits to enunciate.
HIJKLMNO or... A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K,
Chat,
L,
he's lying to me. He's lying to me.
O, P, Q, R, S, T.
No.
I'm not joking.
No,
This is a thing, and it drives me crazy because my music brain is like, that's not the song.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about kids being able to pronounce the letters right. That's not the song.
That's horrific. That's the worst news I've had all week.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, they changed it, and the kids can't read. So I'm not going to lie. I think that illiteracy in the United States is partially because they changed the song.
You know what? That's probably it.
Mnemonic devices are powerful. Good morning, chat. Hi, hello. Sorry about that tangent. Welcome to the Nerdy, the Wordy, the Book Club, where we start off with nonsense.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. How are you doing, Clarus?
Love the interval 2 reaction. Definitely no typos in the thumbnail. Oh, great.
In the thumbnail?
I don't know.
Wait, what?
Spencer's calling you out on your shit.
That's so funny. I don't know what they mean.
I don't know. Y'all look very Canadian today. Yeah, I didn't know you were wearing denim. Did you wear denim because I wore denim?
No, I just wore denim because that's just what I put on.
Okay, well there you go. Accidental denim today.
Wait, what's wrong with interval 2? I wrote interval 2, not interlude.
Yeah.
Whatever, shut the fuck up. We're far enough in, I can swear.
How are you? How are you? We've missed you. How you doing?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Mm-hmm. Except it won't be for a minute because we're here.
Thank
we're here
God.
for the next little bit.
We fucked our schedule this year and we haven't done enough book clubs, and I'm actually like upset about it.
I know. I'm like, but what about more book club?
What about more book club?
What about more book club?
Yeah, no, we kind of like really, I'm happy with all the stuff we've done so far this year.
Yeah.
But I do wish that we had taken book club into account more, and we are moving forward. Like.
Yeah, it's just tough because conventions there's always they're always on Fridays, right?
Yeah, yeah, and we are going to be missing some at the end of July. One at the end of July for my mom's birthday.
No, just the one for. Well, I figured we'd do it in Calgary. I think we accounted for that because we're not doing it at Gen Con. It's a Gen Con that we're missing.
Fly late. Right. We're only missing Gen Con. Right. No. And this is what I mean. We did choose our flight based on still being able to do book club that week. You're
literally.
Right.
We're like, no, we got to do book club. So we're going to do book club and then immediately fly out to Calgary.
Carrion in the chat brings up a very interesting point. What about second book club?
That is going to be on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, June 18th. Is it the 18th?
18th?
Whatever. No, it's got to be the 18th. Because Monday's the 16th.
18th.
Wednesday, June 18th, we will be back in these chairs talking about Iron Flame, the second book in the Fourth Wing quintology called Empyrean.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
We're going to be returning to the world of Rebecca Yaros's nonsensical dragon bullshit, and I'm very excited. It's going to be a cool... we're going to explore what happens after the twist at the end of Fourth Wing.
We got a lot of reading to do.
Yeah, I haven't read a single word.
Yeah.
I said I was going to do it at the cabin, and then I bought... Wait.
What?
I didn't buy. Okay, my wife for my birthday got me the Switch 2. I have it in my hands. It's also always near me now. And you would...
Playing Mario Kart.
No, you would think.
Resident Evil.
Okay, so you would think the new Switch 2's out. Nerdy's playing the new game on the Switch 2. No, I opened my Switch 2 and it was like, hey, the original Resident Evil, the remake from 2002, is $9. And I was like, okay, I should be reading Fourth Wing. But I have a Switch 2. I should play some Mario Kart. So I played like 2 races of Mario Kart.
Yeah. And
then I booted up the original Resident Evil. And I played like 15 hours of Resident Evil in the last 5 days. Look, I'm thus far, I don't know that the Switch 2 is worth the price. I think that it is too expensive. But fuck, is Resident Evil a good video game? Have you guys ever played Resident Evil 1?
No.
It is a damn good video game.
I have not.
They crushed it. No wonder there's fucking 9 of them now.
Fair.
They smashed it out of the park. That game rocks.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Hope they made some money.
You know what? I hope they did between the 7 movies,
9 video games.
Well, it's actually more like 20-something video games between the Outbreak games and the remakes and the... Yeah.
Well, never mind then. Okay.
Truly one of my favorite franchises of all time. Can't wait for Requiem.
Emerson Wright in the chat says, it's my 21st birthday. Happy freaking birthday.
Cheers to Emerson Wright.
Help me out. Never had alcohol. What's my first drink?
Okay, I'm going to be honest. Don't drink like I drink. I am an experienced drinker. And
he likes bougie shit.
Well, I like bougie shit, but I also like harsher things. I generally, when I was a bartender and people would come in and be like, what should my first drink be?
First drink, yeah.
I would usually push them towards an old fashioned.
Okay.
Or like a, if they like juice, I would generally ask, do you like juice or do you like juice. Soda? Yeah. Because, I think that like a rum and Coke is a really good first drink. I think like a whiskey ginger is because then you have the familiar taste, something that you already like.
Fair.
And you're just getting a hint of this new flavor that's going to start hitting your palate. And then you work your way down to drinking things on the rocks and then neat. And then, being able to kind of have that like opening of your palate to experience more things. So yeah, if you really like juice, I would start with like a Bellini or, something that's going to be something you already like, but with alcohol, and then move your way towards other things.
Mimosa, that's a good one.
Yeah, mimosas are good.
Yeah.
Just so that you kind of are like, oh, that's what alcohol is. I think a lot of people just start with a beer.
Yeah.
And I think that beer can be... I think beer is wonderful. I love beer, don't get me wrong. But I also think that beer is such an expansive thing that you have to kind of be willing to like taste some bad beers to find what works for you.
There's nothing in the world that I hate the taste of more than beer.
Yeah, but also like I love beer, but there's only really 3 beers I drink.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like it's not a beverage that I'm having.
Just get a nice orange.
Anything of.
Nice orange one. Yeah.
Like if you try and give me like a
Don't
Miller
go for the
Lite.
violet. Don't go for the violet.
Oh my god, yeah.
No horn eater white over here, okay?
Yeah, Code 76 is my first drink was a mule. That's a harsh first drink.
Yeah.
I love mules, but like ginger beer can be people who don't drink ginger beer.
Yeah.
To go your first drink being, what if we gave you ginger beer, which is already on fire, plus alcohol?
Yeah, brutal. Amboss recently found my Clarus Drives in Cyberpunk video. I'm so sorry. This is why I don't have my license.
I was not paying attention to me. Did you mention Pied Piper Guy joined the Nerds Radiant?
I did not.
Pied Piper Guy, thank you for joining the Nerds Radiant before the stream even started.
Hell yeah. Look at you.
Before we begin, speaking of second book club, the other thing I wanted to bring up, chat, is...
Oh. I don't know.
I've been audiobooking. Don't be mad at me. I've been audiobooking The Will of the Many by James Islington.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I like it quite a bit. But
Baby book club?
Yeah, I was wondering, like, would you guys, if I were to do a solo book club live, would that be interesting to people? Or should I like do more of an edited video review? Because I was thinking of doing, because it's in 3 parts, and I was like, I could do 3 lives about it as I go part 1, part 2, part 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not. I'm like halfway through part 1, and I was like, oh, I could do like part 1, part 2, part 3 lives, like 1 a week for a few weeks.
Oh yeah,
just by myself. And I'm just curious if people would be interested in solo live without Clarus, because I don't think you have time to read the book in the next few weeks. And also, I don't think that we could add another like book club together.
Well, yeah, we haven't actually read any of Iron Flame.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of reading to do before Wednesday. I don't think anyone wants to commission any chapter reactions for that, but
for Iron Flame?
Yeah, but I was like, we haven't actually started it yet, so just in case.
Arzu choked?
On the vodka.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
The first drink they had accidentally was vodka because they thought it was water.
Yeah, what was your first drink?
I'm pretty sure my first drink was one of those shots that's like twisted in half, and one side is like alcohol and one side is a different alcohol. But they're like really sweet.
What?
I
don't know what this is.
It was New Year's when I was 12.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, my parents were like, if you're gonna drink, like, just do it with us.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was like, it was a shot that was like half and half something, and it was like really, really, really sweet.
Yeah.
My first like liquor, my dad gave me a shot of ouzo, and it was horrific.
Yeah.
Hated that.
I love ouzo.
Ugh, no. Mm-mm.
My first was 9/11. Not 9/11.
What?
Oh my God, no.
You're like, I was
2000,
8.
the millennium, Y2K.
Oh.
My dad was like, well, if the world ends, you should try a beer. And so I was like 8 years old, and I had a sip of, like, literally a sip of beer.
Yeah.
With my dad. And then I was drinking by 11. Pretty, like, not regularly, but, like, infrequently with, like, middle school kids.
Really?
I remember I got hammered. I got absolutely trashed at my mom's wedding to Kim.
Oh, well.
I was sneaking champagne off people's tables. And so I got so drunk, and I was like, I need to go home. And the community center where her wedding was like near our house. So I went home, like took a nap for an hour, and then I got on my bike and I rode back to the wedding, and I like stayed. And then I went home at like 1, went back to the wedding at like 2, and then we partied till like 4. It was a wild night. It was so fun.
Yeah.
I vividly remember being like, I'm so drunk. If my mom catches me, I'm going to be in so much trouble. I'm going to go sleep for an hour. And then I went back to the wedding.
That's pretty incredible.
All right. Yeah, Amboss says, let's try a solo live and see how it goes. All right. I will let you know. That'll probably not be next week, but the week after. Because we'll do Iron Flame next week.
Yeah.
The following week, I'm going to do a Will of the Many solo live. Question: are there anybody in the chat who's read those books who is our mod? Because I'm gonna need someone to help me not get spoiled, as I will only be talking about a third of the book.
Right. Good call.
I like it so far. I'm really into it. It is dark, and it is very much.
It sounds super interesting.
Yeah, it's very very fascist, which is very interesting.
You should try reading something that doesn't have slavery.
It doesn't really have slavery, interestingly.
I mean,
it has like and not like child slavery. It has a weird like. Yeah, it's different.
Sure.
But Arzu says I will read it by next week. Thank you, Arzu.
We appreciate
you. I'm enjoying it. I think James Eslington has an interesting style of, it's like very first person in a way that I was like, oh, this is. I wasn't fully on board with, but after a few chapters, I was like, you know what? I'm actually really digging the way that this world is being laid out for me.
Hell yeah, I love that.
I didn't make gamer subs. Damn it.
That's a tragedy.
I know. I only have a little bit of coffee left. I'm probably going to have to go make some mid-pod because I'm going to not have enough liquid to talk for 3 hours.
Wow. Okay.
I know.
A little drink break. Oh, fun fact. If you like alcohol, you can add it to your gamer subs. It's pretty damn good.
And if you need gamer subs, you can use coupon code CLARUS at the gamersubs.gg.
Hell
Get 10% off your order.
Yeah.
Gamer subs. It's a powder that tastes good when you mix it with water.
Yeah.
But it does not taste good on its own.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend just the powder by itself.
We should do like the cinnamon challenge where you have to like eat a spoonful of the non-caffeinated, because the caffeinated would kill us. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure that the amount of caffeine is lethal.
But we're actually here to talk about Rhythm of War.
Oh, right. Right.
War. Clarus, we are now through part 1 of Rhythm of War.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, no more slavery. So, like, that's great. Love
Thank
that.
God.
Yeah.
To Jasnah.
Cheers to Jasnah for being like, hey, you know what? Maybe we, like, shouldn't do that.
Hey, I think slavery might be bad, actually.
Yeah. You know what? What's the way that we can help the most number of people? Is by getting rid of slavery.
Yeah, it's wild. But it is wild that Dalinar's like, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, Dalinar's like, things are a little too chaotic right now. Maybe not. And Jasnah's like, do I look like I give a shit? Actually, you know what? You keep opposing me, so it doesn't look like we're all, like of the same brain cell. This is good for us.
Yeah, I do. I'm grateful that the women in the room are opposed to slavery. And so well, no, because Yassa's like, Navani, did you talk to Dad? Did you talk to Dad about my plan? And Navani was like, sorry, girl, I did not have time.
It's been a rough week.
To push him to be okay with you not wanting there to be slaves in our country anymore. In our country that we don't even like have. Dalinar is like, I don't know, man. Like, people might not be okay with that. And Yassa's like, the people who are currently slaves to the fucking listeners, like the number of Alethi that they actually have gotten out of the country is like, what?
Not a lot.
2%?
Yeah, not a lot.
There's no way the whole kingdom's in Urithiru. Like, she's like, I'm literally changing the lives of like a third, maybe, like, generously a third of our population. And as we free all these people, they won't go back into slavery. I think that's okay, Dad.
Yeah. We love our Jasnah queen.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of her.
Yeah.
I wish this book was more about her.
Yeah,
she's a little missing to me, but
I'm hoping we get some like POVs later on, but I don't know. Jasnah, like this one really feels like it's going to be more so almost like Navani's book than it is going to be Jasnah's. We might have to wait till next book for more Jasnah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
I think that book 5 might be a little late to make it Jasnah's book.
Well,
because it's never really been her book. And I think that I sometimes think that she's doing more interesting things towards the narrative that we kind of find out from characters who are doing less interesting things towards the narrative at times. And I'm like, it kind of feels like we should be in her POV. She's doing things.
Yeah.
But no, I just like her as a character. I wish we spent more time with Jasnah.
Yeah. No. So do I. I think she's fantastic.
Arzu, that was barely a rant about slavery, okay? I was just cracking jokes that Dalinar is Dalinar. And we were hyping him so much because Gavilar was kind of shitty last book club. We were like, yeah, but Dalinar is kind of better. And then this week Dalinar was like, hold my beer. Wait, what if we didn't end slavery though?
He says yet. He's like, I'm open to the idea later. And she's like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Then why not now? Like,
yeah, it's sort of like how the American government is open to the idea of lowering their debt later.
Right.
Probably when the debt, crashes the economy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No,
I'll be right
just
back.
don't. No.
It might be important. Talk to chat.
It's probably not important.
Tell them what chapter 12 is about.
Oh my God. All right. What's up, chat? I'm like, I'm getting really annoyed with people knocking on the door being like, here, take my business card for... Blue! Thank you so much for 20 gifted memberships! That's so many! Oh my God. Oh, reminder. I think this was the last week that book club reactions were going to be on the Nerdy Nightly. So if you're here for the book club reactions, you want to make sure you are either over on patreon.com/nerdynightly or you're here if you want to watch this. Blue, thank you so much for 20 gifted memberships. What was that?
Sprinkler stuff. I'll be right back. We have to let him into the basement.
Oh, okay. Great. It's fine. We're just live. Sup, chat? How we doing? All right, let's get into chapter 12. I made a joke in one of the reactions. I was like, what if I just read the little, like, what are they called? The little blurbs at the beginning of each chapter. I was like, what if I just read all of those first? because I'm so curious. I wish I was there for this lecture that Navani gives on all the Fabrial techniques. So chapter 12 is Kaladin, who's Depresso Espresso. He's having a rough go of it. He's able to kind of, maintain this, just soldier on. And then he, gets to his room and he just loses it. And it's pretty rough. Because I'm like, yeah, man, been there. That sucks. That feeling of, I just got to make it to the point where I am alone for a minute. Judah, thank you for that super chat. Dalinar thinks he's a centrist in the same way most U.S. Democrats think they're left-leaning instead of slightly to the right. Yeah. It is really interesting that in the current climate, you are kind of forced to lean to an extreme in a way, whereas I think most people are fairly center. I think even Nerdy and I have talked about that in terms of economic policies and stuff like that. We're very center, maybe slightly right, depending on what the issue is. And so yeah, politics are fucked right now. I don't know if there's any coming back from that. There are so many books falling into this chair because Blue's a goddamn mad lad. Brandon's been pretty public about which characters get which books. You might want to look into that. Don't think it's spoilery. Yeah, I don't need to know. It's more so that I've very much enjoyed Yasna. Every time we get more of Yasna, I want more of Yasna. So I'm just hoping that we get that at some point. I don't need to know that it's coming. If I'm going to be disappointed, I'll be disappointed on book club. But Judah, thank you so much for that super chat. Let's bop back into here. So Kaladin, very sage boy. His life is crumbling around him, and he is unwell. And who comes a-knocking on the door but Adolin Kalin himself? With Syl, obviously. Excuse me, because Syl is a traitor. That burp was way louder than I thought it was, and this mic is probably close enough to my mouth that I need to apologize. Adolin shows up, and Adolin is becoming the most, fancy pants boy in, the best way. I love him for this. He is so intentional and creative with styling and clothing in a way that Dalinar's what's going on over there? But it's very clear that Adolin just gets to be a little bit more himself, as opposed to, the expectations that are thrust upon him. Adolin takes Kaladin to his favorite wine house, where there is a gathering party going on. And they get some drinks with Vale, and so, oh my god. So poor Shallan has to deal with Vale getting absolutely sloshed. Vale doesn't have to deal with the hangover consequences of that, but Shallan does. And I truly feel so badly for her.
I'm not sure I understand this part. I'm back, by the way. Hi, everybody. Sorry about that.
When they're at drinking at the wine house.
No, I don't understand why there's hangover consequences.
Oh, because she's radiant and she can just heal it?
Yeah, she's I need I need some Stormlight and some herbs for headaches. And I'm like, what?
Maybe you can't cure a headache.
Sure, you can cure getting shot in the head, but a headache is a step too far.
Yeah, I mean, what causes headaches?
What causes What?
I don't know.
Sure. It feels like Radiant should take over right before they go to sleep each night and just use some Stormlight to burn out all of the alcohol.
Oh. Well, maybe it helps her sleep.
Holy shit. Blue gave 20 memberships.
I know.
That shit's crazy.
Blue's a mad lad. Mad lad's in the chat.
Thank you for that super chat. Do you read that one already?
Yeah, but feel free to comment on it.
Donner thinks he's a centrist in the same way the U.S. Democrats think they're left-leaning instead of slightly to the right. Yes. Agreed. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, Embry says dehydration.
What?
So maybe you can't cure dehydration with Stormlight. So wait. No, that doesn't make sense.
You can survive without fucking oxygen.
Yeah, if you are not able to breathe and survive on Stormlight, then you should be able to, like, not drink water. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So yeah, they go out drinking, and we find out that Kaladin is just kind of not a great dude. And
what?
Kaladin just kind of sucks a little bit as a person, and it's a little unfortunate. You know what I mean? Like the whole night is just sort of I think that Adolin is such a good friend in a way because he is trying to help Kaladin, but also kind of takes Kaladin to an event that makes Kaladin feel worse. Because Adolin is like, hey man, you're real depressed. We're just gonna go to a bar. It's gonna be super chill. It's just gonna be us. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be you, me, Shallan. Mm-hmm. We're gonna be friends. And then he gets there, and his friends are at a wedding party that he wasn't invited to for a guy whose name he can't remember that Adolin has a gift for. And Kaladin's like, I suck. And then people are like, well, yeah, but you know all of your guys' names, so you don't like care about bar staff. And Kaladin's like, wow, what a read. Wow. Yeah, okay, I guess. Sorry, Goo. Wish I'd fucking remembered your shit. I was like...
It's a lot of truths revealed.
If I was like, guys, I'm having a really tough time. I don't want to go out. Like, I might kill myself. And my friends were like, okay, but like, let's just go have a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
And then they took me to someone who everyone knows their name. And then they're like, well, no, Kaladin, you're just not the kind of guy who cares about people. I'd be like... I guess where's a rope? Jesus Christ, you guys. I'm depressed. Why are you shoving this in my face? I found it very... And I think I get what Brandon Sanderson was trying to do in, like... I wanna say something about Kaladin by, like, having him in this interaction with these people. And I want to have this commentary about how he cares so much about his soldiers and is, like, so tunnel visioned on them. But he did it in a way that I felt bad for Kaladin because it felt like... It felt like he was put into a position where he had to sit there and be like, I'm not a good person. Oh, shit, well, I need to work on myself.
He's slowly having to confront the idea that him being a soldier isn't the be-all, end-all, right? Like, he knows everything about the fight that he's in and the people who are part of his command. But he has no sense of what life is outside of, like, war. Like he needs to... It's like when people make something their entire personality.
Yeah.
And it's like there's more to life. Mm-hmm. There's more people out there. There's more things to do. And that's partially, I think, why he's struggling so hard with, you know, being demoted or whatever it is, right? Like, is because that's what he feels like all he has. Mm-hmm. And this is really, I think, an eye-opening moment. Not really. I don't actually think that he's there yet. But I think that this is like the beginnings of that. There is more to life out there. Like, there are more that, like, there are important moments that I am going to miss because I am too focused on this one thing, right? Like, it's a similar...
I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I agree with what you're saying. I am just saying that on Adolin's part, if my friend was having a rough time, mm-hmm. I wouldn't take them somewhere where the actions of everybody around them might make them feel worse about themselves. Like, that wouldn't be my way of making them feel better, is what I'm saying. I would, like, if I'm trying to have empathy for someone and help them out, my way to do that wouldn't be to not be empathetic to how they might feel about the place I take them to.
Yeah, but I guess it's just also, like, the place that they go, so...
Oh, 100%. And I do get that. I just found this scene. I found myself, obviously I feel bad for Kaladin for a number of reasons in this. You know, he's struggling with something that is very difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
But I found myself being like, wow, this is like the worst place for you to be right now, bud. I'm so sorry. It's the worst place for him to be with friends right now.
Well, I don't know about that. If he showed up and everyone that was having a party and it was just him alone in a corner and he was like, I think I know those people. Like,
but that is what happens. That is what this is.
Friends.
I mean, yeah, he is, but they're there for something else. It was just interesting. It was just the moment of Kaladin being like, I should know his name. I was like, oh, dude, I've been there. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all been there where we're like, I know I've met you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they chit-chat about what happened with Eli in the middle of a bar.
They chit-chat about classified war shit.
Yeah.
I love they chit-chat about, you know, this top secret stuff.
Pretty much, yeah. They're also trying to set up Kaladin so bad. They're like, Kaladin needs to get laid.
Syl is number one in that.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, is it because she likes watching, or is it that she's like, no, like, sex makes Kaladin happier?
Yeah, and like, does she think that it makes him happier because she experiences some amount of it through the bond?
I have no idea.
I only think that because of the fucking fourth wing shit, but like, is there some amount of the bond between Kaladin and Syl that she experiences when he's in a relationship?
Maybe. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting. I love the detail that this table is so fucked because Shallan has been carving it slowly into what will
vandalizing it
eventually be like a priceless piece of art, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like the bar will weirdly have this like
it's like when it's Marlon Brando sat at this table and you're like, oh, wow, okay. Like
Judah Canizares says, you think Kaladin is a virgin? Nope. Definitely don't.
Nope. Nope. People fuck in this world. Yeah. Yeah, people be fucking.
I'm not sure why you would even say that when we just talked about how Syl experiences sex through their bond.
Thank you for that super chat. Yeah, no, no. There is simply no way.
Yeah, it is interesting, like the level of relationship decorum is very the level of like relationship decorum that is expected from like how marriages work in this world and sort of the like lords and ladies-ness of it, mixed with a lack of virginity care is something I find very interesting, right? It's because Adolin is definitely not a virgin.
Yeah.
And Shallan is very aware that he's not a virgin.
Yeah.
And because she like straight up talks in this, she's like, how was she? Like, but wow, you know, I can't remember the exact moment, but there is a conversation where she's like, wait, you fucked that girl, basically.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about her tits or whatever, and I was like,
he's like, no, they're real.
yeah, because he's like played with her boobs, and I was like, oh, it's so.
That was very funny.
The level of decorum in this world and the expectations of like that is so different.
Yeah.
Than ours at a similar time, you know, in sort of the monarchical structure of society.
Sure, yeah.
And yeah, it's like, well, have you seen her left hand? It's such a fascinating, like...
They probably fuck before they're allowed to see the safe hand, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's like the last thing.
Yeah. Embry says Vale was very bi in this chapter. Yes.
Yeah, no kidding. I was like, Shallan is bi, and you're like, no, she's not. And I'm like...
I don't know that Shallan is, but Vale definitely is.
No, Shallan, the first thing
Shallan
she notices
likes
about...
Adolin's sweat too much.
Yeah, she's very bi. It's okay. You can like sweaty women, too.
You don't have to be bisexual to notice when a woman has massive tits.
She's like, Yasna's the most beautiful person in the whole world.
Okay, but there are straight women who think that about Sabrina Carpenter. It doesn't mean that they want to fuck her. No, it doesn't. You can acknowledge that someone has a ethereal level of beauty.
I think that both Shallan and Vale are bi. I don't think Radiant is. I
don't think Radiant's sexual. I don't think Radiant's like a full person.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Radiant isn't as three-dimensional as Shallan or Vale are.
It does feel that way, and maybe it's just because we've spent the least amount of time with Radiant.
Well, she just seems more like function over form. Like, Radiant seems like she is part of the trifecta for a purpose. But she is never... Radiant never... there's no social scenario Radiant is in charge of. She only comes out for work, right?
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it does feel that way.
Yeah, and maybe that'll change. Maybe we'll have time with Radiant to do more stuff like that. But right now, like, there's never a scene. I can't think of a single scene where Radiant is in like a social leading position.
Yeah.
With a point of view on that. She only comes out when it is relevant to the job.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't buy this, like, oh, it's working. We're like 3 equals. It's like, well, no, you're not. Like, Radiant isn't an equal. Radiant is Vale feels like an alternative personality. Radiant feels like a defense mechanism.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're all alternate personalities. I might get the language around this wrong because like it's tough to talk about like the magic version of this.
Right.
While at the same time I think Brandon Sanderson is doing a good job of it.
Yeah.
But right now Radiant doesn't have I don't even think Radiant really has an opinion on Adolin yet, right? But Vale definitely does. And so I find that interesting.
Yeah. 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 But Kaladin confides in Adolin and is like, yep, got demoted. They talk about his, like, battle shock is what they're calling it. And Adolin's like, you know what, we'll figure it out. Because if we can figure out a way to help you, maybe we can help Shallan as well. Because, I think it's fair to say that what is going on with Shallan and Vale and Radiant is also very taxing on Adolin. Because he's, like... Unless they, like, pre-plan who's in charge that evening, I imagine it would be very difficult to have those very sudden shifts, right? And that each persona there's different boundaries with each one as well. And so I think that would be difficult in, like, especially intimate moments. But they seem to be navigating it pretty well.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like there has ever been a point where someone has come out at an inopportune time.
No, it's more just
they have
like
enough control of that.
It is just like sudden sometimes, and then they have like an immediate shift in, like, Adolin like will put his arm around Shallan and not Vale, and like they will like move differently together based on who's in charge.
Yeah, but that doesn't seem to happen in like their intimate time.
We don't see that yet. I'm just saying it's probably difficult.
Oh yeah, it's definitely difficult, right? But I think that Adolin has handled it as well as anyone possibly could have.
Yeah.
Right? He seems very, very comfortable in it and in supporting her. And I appreciate that about Adolin a lot across this whole scene in the bar, right? Mm-hmm. The moment Kaladin notices, like, Adolin has his arm up on the bar, but it's not around Vale. Mm-hmm. And, like, Adolin respecting the boundaries of the altars is great. Like, I don't think I've ever seen... I mean, I haven't seen that much content with characters with the ID that aren't, like, split. Like a horror movie where, something like that. But where it's treated respectfully like that. But Adolin specifically being shown without the book needing to, like, have him be like, I am an ally. but just in little things by, like, commenting on his physical body language, depending on which altar's out. I think that's great. I think it's a level of representation of that I think I've never seen before. And I really appreciate in the book. I think Brandon Sanderson's writing that really well.
Yeah.
Even though, and I think that, like, when we talked about the DID stuff in the first part of Rhythm of War 2 weeks ago, because our mod Arzu kind of we had like a private conversation about it, about the, like, me saying the the next memory thing was bothering me.
Oh.
And I just to comment on that publicly briefly, I think that like I appreciate the way the DID stuff is being handled, and I think that it's being written well, and I think that it's respectful. The reason why I said that it was like there's an even worse memory, it wasn't that I don't want the DID stuff to be explored at all.
Yeah, and that it wouldn't be like how that works, like dealing with that and going through it,
and or that like that there aren't always that there isn't another memory or stuff like that. But it was more that I felt like this character had been so relegated to that being her story for so long that it felt like to do that again felt at the moment like we were going to be kind of like trapping her in this cycle as a character that didn't feel connected to other things. And then the book was like, no, we are actually going to give her something to do. It's just also not going to be connected to anything else happening in the book until at the end of this when it is, right?
Yes, yeah.
And I think that like the way Brandon Sanderson through part 1 has massaged Shallan's narrative to be her personal journey, but also connected to the larger journey, I actually really like, and I will get to it as we get to more Shallan stuff. But I think that like with this second half of part 1 now read, I see more now. And this has kind of always been the problem with book club, is talking about these books in pieces and being like, well, this feels like a weird setup for something that's going to be a little bit left field. And then Brandon Sanderson did manage to bring it center field by the end of this. And so it is always going to be the thing of talking about books as we're going through them, of there's going to be things that will be cleared up. And that's always going to be the case. But I don't think the answer for us can be to just not do the show.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? That is the weird tension of this, though. Is people are like, well, but like, why are you talking about it now? And it's like, well, that's the structure we've done for 5 years.
Our feelings will change week to week, and that's I that's kind of the fun of it. And I think for us as well as for the people that have stuck around, right?
Yeah. And I just find it interesting that we still get those comments, but as if we're gonna like change the structure of the show now. But I do appreciate. I think that the DID stuff, honestly, without Adolin, I don't know if I would be as interested in it, because he's the part of it that feels like genuinely fresh to me as an idea,
and like real, like very like having the perspective of someone who is like, I don't really understand this, and like nobody in this world understands this.
Well, and also because it's a magic series, without the way he is reacting to her, I think that Shallan's DID-ness would feel more like it's being used for like storytelling stuff.
Device. Yeah.
But it is because the book is exploring how to respect someone's altars that I'm like, oh, we're exploring this more completely than it just being for the magic side.
Right.
We're exploring this for the personal side, for the relationship side, for like, what does it mean to be married as someone with DID? It's not just this magic thing.
Yeah.
And I think that this scene really reframed how I was feeling in that first half of part 1 of the book, where I was like, are we just kind of doing like more magic DID stuff? And they're like, no. We're going to do a lot of different things with it. And I know that there is parts in part 1, that first week of reading, that do the same thing. I just didn't really piece together how complete that picture was in that piece. And I think that this bar scene really, like, Kaladin watching Adolin respond to Shallan switching was such a fascinating thing to me, because it wasn't that Adolin does this in private, right? It's not like something that Adolin, when it's just the two of them, he's thinking about and he's trying to be his best.
Yeah.
It's something that comes so naturally to him that he doesn't even think about it.
Yeah.
He is just respecting her on this like base level. And I loved that. I really, really loved that. And I think that the bar scene, as tough as it is to read because Kaladin is struggling so much, and it like hurts me to see him hurting like that, there's so many character interactions in it that I just think are so good, and show so much depth and kindness and empathy in these characters, even as I think Adolin is also kind of failing Kaladin by bringing him here into this scenario that makes him feel uncomfortable.
You win some, you lose some.
And that's social situations, right? It can be both, and often it is both, right? And it's hard to set up a perfect intervention, right?
Yes.
And in a lot of ways, Adolin doesn't here. Rock is like, hey, I'm leaving. Like, Kaladin is struggling so much right now.
Yeah.
And Rock walks over and is like, hey, I'm gone for good.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I'm probably going to go die. Like, it's kind of like they don't say it specifically that, but it feels like the punishment for him, like, breaking, like, the birthright hierarchy of what you're allowed to do is very severe. I'm assuming we'll find out about it. But I do also want to...
It's either going to be very severe, or it's going to be, like...
silly.
Not silly, but they're going to go there, and he's going to be, like, the, like, town jester, or, like, the town... Or he's going to, like, he now does laundry duty for the rest of... Like, it's going to be one of those things where it's, like, there's a role for him now, where he has to, like, atone...
Yeah, maybe.
Because I just don't think they're going to kill him. I don't think that the Unkalaki are, like, vengeful in that way. I think that they will be more disappointed.
I don't know shit about them. That's the problem.
Yeah, they just seem to have more of a reverence for life than... And maybe it's just because of the reverence for Spren, but I feel like they have a little bit more of a spiritual connection to life. And so I just think that, like, they won't just... There will be a purpose for Rock in his life back home when he gets there, even if it is a purpose that is just there as a reminder of what he's done, right?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
they did make it seem like it was going to be very dire, but I did just want to pop back to Shallan for 2 seconds and say that, like, I do appreciate that Brandon Sanderson has clarified in this section that what is going on with Shallan is not just, like, magic power stuff, right? It's, like, kind of exacerbated by the things that she can do magically. But that there are other people in this world that are similar to Shallan in that way, and obviously they're not treated great. But, like, that it is not just magic stuff, because for the first 3 books, I definitely felt like it was, like, a magical thing. Yeah. And I feel like I have a lot more clarity now on what this is, what this means for Shallan and for other people like her.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I am glad that I feel like I have more clarification there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that it is part of the reason why I was hesitant at the beginning of this book.
Yeah.
Is because, as much as I've enjoyed Shallan in the second and third book, because I still don't really love her in the first one. And I think that when I really think back on Way of King Shallan, that character feels like a prototype for book 2 and 3 Shallan, but not really the same character in some ways, and I find that fascinating.
I think that's 100% accurate, though, because she's never been able to be a fully formed independent human before she, like, leaves her home. And so she is her own prototype in a weird way. Like, she's, like, figuring it out.
Yeah, but the way she's haunted by her memories, or by the fact that she can't remember them, just didn't feel as present then. And I don't know if that's because she finally had some. I just feel like somewhere between Way of Kings and Words of Radiance, Brandon Sanderson clicked in how to write this character.
Okay.
And she's just... And that happens in a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at fucking every sitcom season 1, and then the character is the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Right? Michael Scott in The Office is fucking awful in the first... He's a terrible character. It's nobody's fault. Mm-hmm. It really isn't. He's just not good in the beginning of that show. And then they figured out how to write him, and then the point where they figured out Michael to when he leaves at the end of season 7 is one of the great TV characters, right? Like, genuinely one of the great TV characters. But they had to find that. And for me, like, the weakness of Way of Kings will always be him trying to find Shallan. And then once he finds her, these books get so much better, right?
Yeah.
And Oathbringer obviously is, like, one of my favorite fantasy books ever. And she's also incredible in Words of Radiance. But Brandon Sanderson felt like he figured out Kaladin and Dalinar in book 1. Mm-hmm. And then Adolin and Shallan in book 2.
Yeah.
And now Adolin is really cooking with gas. Like, he's such a great character.
I love him so much. Like, genuinely, I think he's an awesome character, and just so, like, real. Like you said, like, he doesn't do the best job here getting Kaladin to come out, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, tell me honestly that you should be alone right now, and Kaladin's like, fuck. Like,
yeah.
Right? It's not perfect, but it is better than nothing, and the effort means so much, even if it doesn't in this moment. You know, like.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Sometimes you look back on things that people did for you and moments and realize how much they actually meant, when it's really tough to see that in the moment when it's happening.
Yeah. Then we get to chapter 13?
13.
Is that where we're at? I don't know. Another hunt. We get more talk of honestly, y'all, the advanced Fabrials discussions at the beginning of these chapters. I feel like I should know what they all mean. I should. Uh-huh. And I do understand most of them. But like the splitting spren, I don't really get that.
Yeah.
Like this one is rubies and flame spren are traditional for this purpose, as they've proven the easiest to divide and the quickest in response times. Other types of spren do not split as evenly or as easily or at all.
Yeah, and like I don't know what the fuck.
Sure, bud.
Yeah.
You know what, Navani?
Okay.
Sure, bud.
If you say so.
Whatever you say, girl. Yeah, so we find we start this with Shallan again.
She gets a letter from Janat, the Unmade.
Yeah.
She can write, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How I have so many questions about the letter. Specifically the letter. It's
was
not
it one or was it multiple?
She doesn't get a letter. She gets a span read communication. So
right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Is Janat talking to someone to get them to write on a span read, or is Janat, because she's in between dimensions, moving a span read in the cognitive realm? So she's actually writing on the span read. Because if it's the second one, is there an unmade writing on... No, because she still had to plug in the ruby.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much she can appear in either realm. She does kind of allude to it in her like interlude thing, but I don't know. I
just was like, wait, Janat wrote a letter, and I was like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Cool. And the Unmade has like servants, and then we got to the Odium stuff with her in the interludes. And I was like, wait a second, if Odium's like watching her, who is she telling to do this? If she's trying to keep this all secret. Yeah, it was wild.
I don't know. But she can, get someone to write for her, or she can write. I don't know.
Why can't Janat just talk to Renarin?
Why would she be able to talk to Renarin?
Because Renarin's spren is corrupted by her.
Okay.
Or not corrupted, but I can't remember what she called it. Awakened or something, yeah.
See, this is again more Warbreaker shit. It's really fishy.
Yeah. So
we'll get there.
Yeah, we also get kind of it's not that interesting, but I found it interesting because I like to know how the world works. That we get the Adolin is the prince of a tenth of Urithiru, and so Shallan has duties that she has these very trusted people running while she's on missions because she has to be a spy. And so she's not really doing her accounting. She has her lord's women doing the accounting. So she has to check up because she's been away for a while and make sure they haven't been fucking with the books. And just interesting. The division of power in Urithiru is so fascinating to me because it is a city state, but it is also a city state that's run by a country, but people from all over the world are there. But mostly it's people from Elethkar, right? Mm-hmm. It's just the structure of power here and the way that it's run does actually fascinate me. Mm-hmm. I would read a novella that's just bland information about the day-to-day maintenance of just keeping the city going. The food and the soul casting, how are you getting enough gemstones to do all the soul casting? I have legitimate processes questions.
They got a lot of gem hearts.
Yeah, but they have to be going through them like crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's the amount of real food here. Also, the one thing that they used to talk about so much in the books that they haven't talked about at all since they really got to Urithiru is how none of the food would taste like anything. They would be eating just the most bland,
soul cast
sawdusty bullshit.
Well, because they're all rich now. They get to eat real food.
I don't know that there's that much real food.
Yeah. No. All the rich people get to eat the real food.
Yeah,
And then
I guess
all the
they could just-
soldiers get the soul cast, nothing taste.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So when Kaladin was like a bridgeman, obviously, yeah, he was eating shit.
Yeah.
But now they get the good stuff.
And so she goes to hang out with her siblings
Yeah.
because that's, what she does on her day off. And
yeah, she's like, "Oh yeah, right. This is what the hearth looked like before my mother tried to kill me." Anyway,
I'm just going to draw my siblings burning in the fires of the hearth.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. But Mraize shows up and basically like alludes to like, wow, it would be really shitty if your brother accidentally
He doesn't show up. His brothers bring him.
Because he's
been training
He's been
to
training.
be a guard with.
But he's really
Balak.
bad in training, and there's
almost took off a guy's arm.
lot of accidents that could happen if Shallan doesn't do what the Ghostbloods want.
Yeah.
We get a lot of lore drop about the Cosmere of it all.
Well, yeah. So they Shallan ends up going down to the garden. He basically Mraize implies that like, oh, I'm gonna look up from the garden and maybe I'll see you. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go meet him in the garden. And then she's like, I'm gonna make him wait a second. Okay, that was a second. I need to know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
So then Mraize lore drops real fucking hard. Mm-hmm. And my eyes glazed over a little bit.
You know what Gavilar was trying to do? Some crazy shit.
Gavilar has been to Braze and has brought back Void Light, but not Void Light.
Yeah.
Because we find out with Navani, it's not Void Light.
Different.
Yeah.
Somehow.
And
it feels wrong.
That's why the singers killed him? Or the listeners killed him?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a fused soul. Because Eshonai says you're trying to bring back our gods, the fused. Maybe that's why it looks like Void Light, but it isn't Void Light.
It was literally a soul in the freaking, like, in a gem.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's different, is that it is a trapped fused soul.
And it, like, feels wrong because it's, like, someone who should be dead.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I was like, oh, there's a third kind of light. It was starting to feel a little bit like Mistborn when they're like, there's a third kind of... when they start to introduce Hemalurgy and you're like, oh, there's a third one.
Yeah, there's a different metal.
I was like, oh, there's three kinds of light now.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of different magic lights in this.
Yeah.
But if it's a fused soul trapped in a gemstone, that would be very fascinating. Because the implications of it would be huge.
Yeah. Yes. And, the fused are worried about that they are going to discover how that is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think you're right. Because I was like, what other kind of fucking light are we doing now? Like, I was like, okay. But that makes more sense that it would not be, it's not a light.
So the goal of the Ghostbloods is to get Stormlight off Roshar to have investiture in other planets.
Their goal is capitalism. Their goal is to have the most of the most valuable resource that they can control and distribute throughout the Cosmere. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Mraize gives Shallan the dumbest mission ever, which is to go find a guy and then you'll know what to do. And she's like, no, just fucking tell me. I wanted to stop reading the book at that point. I was like, Brandon Sanderson, fuck off.
Yeah.
I get it. Everything has to be a fucking mystery, but this is dumb. I'm sorry.
Just go find a guy. See what happens.
This shit drives. This is like authorship stuff that I actually don't like. When characters are like, you've been working for us for over a year. Your mission is to go find that guy and then you'll know. And she's like, the fuck does that mean? And I'm like, yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
Why would anyone say that? Like, why would a human being give someone a mission after they've completed like 30 missions for you?
You're like, this is the one. After this, we'll tell you everything. And you're like,
my God.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God,
oh, yeah. The Ghostbloods are so cringe in the way that, like, I think Shallan commented on how cringy the Sons of Honor were. But like the Ghostbloods are susceptible to it too. They're just bigger and have been around longer and like play the game a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But they're the same kind of cringe where they're like, yeah, you'll know, and you're like, ugh.
Oh
fuck
God,
off.
I know. I rolled my eyes so hard I almost crashed the fucking car.
Is there a secret organization that is not cringe? Name one.
I mean, we wouldn't know they exist. Name a secret organization.
The Kingsmen.
Not real. That's a movie.
Yeah.
And not cringe. They're all hot.
Yeah, but but they are also like they all are also a little cringe.
Yeah, but they explain the mission to fucking Eggy.
Yeah, I just mean like
Eggsy?
I don't know.
At least he knows what his fucking mission is going into it. They're not like, we need you to protect the Prime Minister. From what? Don't know. Where's the Prime Minister? Go find him.
He's in this city. It's a big city though, so you're gonna have to look real hard.
I sometimes feel like authors feel the need to like tease so hard that they make people not speak like humans.
Well, but
that's the thing that I find frustrating about it sometimes is that I'll read books and it's like, well, I don't want to I want to have a twist. And the way that they set up that there's going to be a twist isn't by like seeding little things and then, oh my God, a twist. It's by going, there's going to be a twist.
Well, but
I'm like, I don't
think that's Brandon Sanderson. I think that's Moraes. I think that Moraes is like, yeah, no, like we're really cool and we're going to tell you all this stuff, but like you can't know everything yet. Like,
I actually like, I like Arzu's point here. I don't think Moraes knows either. I think he's just fucking with her at this point to not lose his mystique in front of her.
Like, honestly though, like probably, right?
If it turns out to be that, I will be fine with it because that's funny. But if it turns out that like it's just something that he could have said that he just didn't because I just am like,
yeah.
Just like if he thinks she's competent and worth having in the organization, and they've spent a year working together and she's not divulged a fucking thing about him to anybody. Like if you don't trust her with what you want her to do, unless it turns out that it's going to be a moral problem. And like there is a version of this where it could be very interesting where she like gets there and does have to do something she doesn't want to do. And if he'd said it, she never would have done it.
Right. She wouldn't have gone. That's interesting.
But I just don't. Yeah. I think that I just find like, oh, you'll know when you get there to be, I hate it. I hate it as a like thing.
As an autistic person, you're like, what do you mean I'll know when I get there? I need to know what I'm walking into.
And here's the thing. This isn't Brandon's fault at all. This is how that is overused in literature and in movies.
Yeah.
To the point where again, this is not a Brandon Sanderson thing.
Yeah.
This is me being frustrated with that as a like device that writers use to make their things seem more interesting than it actually is.
Yeah.
And when you get there, it's like, well, they could have just said that.
It only works if it's clever, if there is actually some kind of
and
like.
It's usually not.
Yeah. You got to be careful with that plot device. You got to have a real ace up your sleeve for it to work, I think.
Yeah.
If you're like, well, why didn't they just tell you that? Like, I actually don't see a reason why they didn't tell you that. You're like, yeah.
And it's something that would work more if Shallan was fresher with the organization. One thing about the year-long time skip for me is that some of the relationships don't feel like they've moved forward a year. It just kind of feels like we just kind of got out of Words of Radiance. And like Shallan working for the Ghostbloods for a year and still knowing nothing is very weird to me. Like, why did you keep working for them for a year without any information? And the book doesn't really answer that in this conversation.
Yeah.
Shallan's just kind of like, well, I guess we're still doing this. And I'm like, but why? What have you got? What is one thing Shallan has gotten out of this relationship?
Her brothers.
A year ago.
Yeah, I mean, they're there and they're safe. Like.
Yeah, that and then she just that debt feels paid to me. She did the job to get her brothers, right? Like that was a trade. I understood the trade of her brothers for that job, and she did that job and she got her brothers. That doesn't mean that you do jobs for them forever. You don't work for someone forever because they paid you one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
And so the relationship between Moraes and Shallan is very odd to me. I don't get what she's getting out of it.
Yeah,
except backstabbed.
it alludes to there being information, but we don't know like what that is.
Well, no, it's always that the information is coming. And I just feel like Shallan is getting kind of played for a fool here. And honestly, she might end up getting played for a fool here. Well, and this gets back to the Vale problem, which is that Vale isn't actually good at this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Vale has no experience.
Yeah.
Shallan invented Vale one day, said she is good at this, and then she
has
kind of
had
stumbles
to
through
figure
it.
out how to get good at this. Yeah. Because sometimes she is very good at this. And sometimes, I mean, you know, like just going back to like Vale's first outings, you're like, oh, girl, like, it's fine. She figured it out. She's had some time.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's really fascinating. I find the Ghostbloods of it all, I'm unfortunate, honestly, because I know that Miss Marner 3 is called Ghostbloods, that this feels like it isn't relevant.
Wait, wouldn't that mean that it feels like it is relevant?
No. Here's the thing. If I didn't know that Mistborn Era 3 was going to be called Ghostbloods, which no one spoiled for me, it was just plastered all over the internet. You know what I mean? Like, there was no way I was going to miss it.
Yeah.
If I didn't know that, I would feel like this is relevant to this book. But I don't, because I know that this series that's going to take place on another planet is called Ghostbloods, when I read this chapter, I go, okay, we're seeding things for a different series. You know what I mean? It's kind of like in Marvel movies when a character shows up and you're like, oh, okay, that's going to be relevant in like 3 years.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't really care about that scene right now.
And then that movie never gets made.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Miss Marner 3 is not getting made. It's just funny.
Maraise feels like a post-credits. It feels like Nick Fury showing up to be like, guys, I can't wait for you guys to watch the Avengers movie. And I'm like, I'm reading Rhythm of War right now.
Yeah.
But if I didn't know about Miss Marner 3 being called Ghostbloods, this scene I would have been like, ooh, how is this relevant to this book?
Yeah.
And so it's just an unfortunate side effect of being behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of like catching up on a series is that there are little spoilers. And this is something where a spoiler can really impact a reading experience, right? That spoiler has really impacted my ability to give a shit about Maraise in this series because I don't think he's that relevant. And I might be wrong, but it's my gut instinct that this is setting up something else.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, it's a little unfortunate. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. It doesn't like ruin the book, but like, I wish that I was able to like pluck that little bit of knowledge out and read this as if I thought it mattered to Rhythm of War.
Yeah.
When I don't. I kind of don't.
Yeah.
Until obviously Shallan is going to go there for, you know, reasons that are relevant to the Honor Spren. We're running out of Honor Spren, so our numbers are dwindling. Like, I do get that. But there is just this thing where it is affecting the Cosmere is affecting my reading of this book a little bit.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah.
We get to chapter 14 with Venli. Venli and Leshwi. And this, we reacted to this one, right?
14, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So Venli is basically like...
Oh, wait, 1 second. Maraise drops Hoyd's name. Because for the first time, one of our Stormlight characters learns that Wit's name is Hoyd.
I thought that was
no, that's
Zyle.
There's too much fucking Cosmere shit in this section. God damn it.
I don't think Hoyd came up. Yeah, that was the Zyle chapter.
Yeah. There's too much Cosmere bullshit in this section.
Yes.
I liked it. I really like the books so far. I think Rhythm of War is very good. Mm-hmm. This section had 3 different characters come in from the Cosmere to be like, this is relevant to other things in the Cosmere, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah. But we get a chapter with Venli and Leshwi, and there's a big old meeting. Where there's like these 9 really important people that encase themselves in stone to be super dramatic.
Official ACM says Wit told Dalinar's name was Hoyd years ago, so never mind.
Oh, okay, that's probably how we got confirmation.
I thought it was a cool moment. Apparently, it wasn't. People in stone.
Yeah, that's like all like face towards each other and like not actually like where everyone else in the room is. It's super dramatic, you know, like cult shit usually is.
Okay, I just want to bring this up. Okay, Seth Butler says, if you don't like the Cosmere at all, you're going to struggle more and more moving forward. It's not that I don't like the Cosmere. It's that Brandon's version of super-powered Cosmere characters is for them to not really care about the plot lines they're interacting with. Mraize doesn't really care about the fight with Odium. He doesn't want Odium to win, but he also doesn't really care.
Yes.
Xyle doesn't care. Hoid doesn't care. He's there to observe and he doesn't care. There's 3 big Cosmere bouncing characters.
Yeah.
I think they're called World Hoppers, right? I think that's why they called it the World Hopper Ball at... There's 3 of them in this book whose attitude towards the plot is, it would be nice if you guys won, but I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
That is what's not working for me.
Yeah.
It is that these characters are not coming in. Like, Mraize is like, I want to get Stormlight off to Scadrial so I can go do Scadrial power shit.
And if Odium wins, that's kind of a pain in the butt, but I don't really care.
Xyle's like, I'm doing science, but I don't really care. You guys fuck off. Like, fight Odium. I have the power to do something about it, but I'm just not going to. Mm-hmm. Hoid has all this information and isn't helping because he would be... Hoid seems to have some sort of, like... Starfleet like prime directive to not interfere more than a certain amount.
Well, yeah, I think out of all the 3 of them, I think that Hoid cares the most because he actually like does give a shit about like people, right? Like he will like, he saved that little girl. Like there's like things that Hoid does that I'm like, he like cares, but yeah, he is this weird like can't do much. I'm just around.
But these characters have like levels of power and understanding that they just don't impart because that would affect the balance of the cause.
Unless
because
Hoid
of
has
Starfleet
changed...
Prime Directive bullshit, which makes sense in Starfleet.
Yeah.
But here I'm like, there is a literal war against a god happening. Help.
Although we do know that Hoid and Jasnah are now working together, so that might have changed at some point.
And that would be that would be fucking great.
Yeah.
Because the thing about the Cosmere that isn't working for me is that these characters they just show up without a big intention. Mm-hmm. And they're just sort of present and they're all cryptic and they're all twirling their mustaches about how fun it is to fuck with these little people who have real problems in front of them. And that's the like disconnect I'm having is I'm like, either show up and give a shit or go somewhere else and give a shit there. But to show up, to have 3 different characters in this section who all have various levels of like, oh, I'm from somewhere else, but I'm not going to help you that much because I'm not going to tell you everything I know, is like, it's 2 characters too many. To just be like, fucking annoying.
Yeah, I do think though that in this section in particular, there was a shift in that because like, Xyle did start sharing things that, unfortunately, Kaladin has absolutely no fucking context for any of the information that he has given. I do think that, like, maybe Xyle should tell, like, Dalinar or Jasnah, or maybe he has, but it is just it feels weird how and when and why these characters divulge the information that they know.
It just feels like they're being cryptic for the sake of it being a book.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they take me out of the book because I feel very immersed by a lot of Brandon Sanderson's writing, mm-hmm. right? Genuinely, I'm like living these moments with them. The party scene with Vale and Rock and Kaladin and Adolin, I felt like I was in that bar. Mm-hmm. And sometimes he's so immersive. And the Cosmere sections at times feel cryptic for no reason. And I'm reminded that it's the same with the "you'll know when you get there" line from Mraize. The reason why I don't like it isn't because it's bad or that no one says that in real life. It's because the level of crypticness in it feels unnecessary to the moment. And so I'm reminded that I'm reading a book.
Right.
It's a moment that is a landmark of like, there's going to be a twist later. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm reading a book.
Right.
I'm not immersed. I'm not in the garden with them listening to a conversation. I'm being told by the author that there's going to be something here later it's going to be really clever when you get there.
Interesting. Okay.
And so when Brandon is at his best, I feel your pain, or like honor is dead, but I'll see what I can do. I am like living these moments. I picture the gladiatorial arena. I picture the battlefield. I picture the boat. I can smell the sea air. All of those things he can pull off so well. And every time a Cosmere character drops in, I'm like, this character is being cryptic for the sake of not wanting to reveal too much about the Cosmere right now. And my brain goes, oh, this is a novel.
Yeah.
And I just don't find, I'm not immersed with them because they're like not divulging, the way that they're divulging information always feels like it's a book. And
right.
Not like it's like the world living through me.
Yeah.
In the way that so, like all of Mistborn Era 1, I felt like I was on every single street of those books.
Yeah.
I felt like I was soaring with Finn. And it's why, like, the feeling those books, like, wrapped my heart in is why that series is still my favorite part of his writing, is because I never felt like I wasn't there.
Yeah.
There were times I didn't want to be there because I didn't want to fucking hang out with Zane, but I was always there with them.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's these moments where, like, Zyle starts to be, like, a Type 2 invested character. And it's like, well, why haven't you said this to anybody? Why are you... I get that he's hiding out, but if the hiding out is more important than the fight with Odium, why are you telling him now?
Well, yeah, you're hiding from Azure. Is that really more important than, like, Odium, like, winning? I don't know. I don't really understand yet. And so it does feel a little bit arbitrary because I don't have the full picture of why these people are acting the way that they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carrion says you're making some pretty big assumptions about motivations again when we just don't know what they are. Hoyd's been in this series for 4 books now. Great. I still don't know what his motivations are. That to me means that he doesn't care that much. Zyle straight up says he doesn't care. Like, he just doesn't want to participate. His motivation, from his words, not an assumption. His exact words are, I tried. People are going to keep fighting. I don't want to be a part of it anymore. That's just what he says. That's not an assumption. Those are his words. Mraize says, we don't really care what happens. We don't want Odium to win, but, like, it's not the end of the world if he does. That's just what he says. Maybe he cares a lot more than he is saying, and maybe the twist is that Mraize cares a lot later on. All the information I have right now is what they are saying with their words and their actions. And their words are, I don't want to participate.
Yeah. And
there's 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
They all have... Hoyd, I think, cares.
I do think that he cares. I'm very confused as to why he's, like, putting on plays for himself instead of, like, doing anything. And that's the thing is, now that I know that he's with Jasnah and that they seem to be, like, conspiring and people think that they're fucking, I'm, like, more
Which
inclined...
they definitely are.
They might be. I could see it.
The only person that could keep Jasnah entertained for a long period of time is an Immortal who has, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, 1,000%. And so I'm like, oh, Hoyd might actually be more involved now, like... but I don't know yet. We haven't had that perspective.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah. No. And again, like, I find the information on its own interesting, right? Mm-hmm. Like the Cosmere information here is great.
Yeah.
Finding out that, like, Scadril and Nalthis are somehow tied together in this, that there is more than one planet tied up in this information, and the way that I didn't even pick up on the Scadril and Nalthis of it when she was reading the book, I was like, oh, those are the names of the heralds.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Seth Butler says, it feels like Cosmere characters are having their arcs over multiple series, not a single series, so it is much slower to me. Sure. And I think that when we get, like, the grand scope of it, I'll look back on it and be like, oh, that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But it is really hard for me to tie together why Hoyd being in Mistborn Era 1, Mistborn Era 2, and this all mattered. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't see the big picture yet.
And it's because the picture of Roshar on its own is as big as a story needs to get to me.
Yeah, it is already
massive.
I mean?
Like, the idea that there's something beyond Odium isn't... I don't really care. We're in the middle of something that matters now.
Yeah. But yeah, we get to this meeting with the 9. Leshri is on edge because somebody new has been awakened. We find out that the different fews are awakening in, like, in
by the way,
waves. That's the word.
This is the coolest shit. I just complained about Cosmere shit. This is the fantasy shit that is the coolest shit.
The weird culty.
It's not a cult. It is a political structure. It's not a cult because it's not really like.
I just feel like the stones facing away from the actual, like, people and only towards themselves is just very, like.
Sure. Yeah. I just mean that it's not a cult in that it isn't, like, based on some sort of, like, religious belief that is taking advantage of people through, like, there's no, like, charismatic leader taking advantage. Like, this is just their political structure.
Yeah.
Like, these, and, like, you can leave the 9 and someone will ascend. Like it's a fantastical political structure that isn't based on like a religion, because Odium is a literal god, right? Like cults, to me, there has to be a level of lies to the faith in it, and there's no lie here. The Odium is real. Like, Odium exists.
Yeah.
You can literally talk to him. Multiple people in that room have regular conversations with God. And so, like, they're just, this is their political structure. And the political structure is fascinating. The way I love the detail of them having to have their voice introduce them before they speak, and how the decorum of that breaks down, and what it means for the decorum of that to break down for different people depending on their level, their station.
Yeah.
Like, the moment where the pursuer breaks decorum is responded to differently by everyone in the room than the moment when Leshwi does.
Yeah.
Right? And the way in which Brandon Sanderson really in one chapter manages to paint the picture of the entirety of this political structure, and I understood it. It felt very alien to our life, but like something that could actually exist and could function, right? There is enough there that it could work for them. Yeah. It's a little bit crazy that you have to lock yourself in stone, but it could work. Yeah. As a fantastical structure, and how the rhythms and the songs are so relevant to the way in which they communicate. I thought this chapter was fucking great.
Oh yeah. Oh, like, it was a banger. Great. And like it really opened up the scope of like what this story is going to be, but not in a way that I felt lost, in more of a way that I felt like the picture became bigger, but in a way that I understood more. So I actually felt like I walked away with a better understanding of this story. What was I going to say?
Not sure. Would you lock yourself in stone?
Nope.
To be in charge?
Nope. Can't do it. I'm too wiggly.
One of the interesting things about it is that they would be such ineffective leaders.
Oh, because they can't like go out and see the world.
Experience
but this is the listener's problem. Yeah. They're actually like really bad at accomplishing their goals. Like they are,
which they should be very good at.
They should be very good at, but they are so warped and old that they are actually really, really, really bad at this.
And so steeped in tradition.
Well, yeah. I remember I was going to say, I like when we first met the singers, but when we first met the listeners, I was like, yeah, no, the humans are the ones that sucks. Like they're the ones that have slaves, and we get Eshni being like, wait, they like enslave people, but then like the singers have this hierarchy that it seems like you can't progress, and like they're like the being lesser than is so severe, and that you're just kind of have to do what you're told through your entire life with no, like they are so much more rigid than I expected when we first met the listeners, that the singers having this attitude, and I think part of it is the like endless cycle of rebirth and coming back and always going to war. Yeah. But this attitude of we're trying to take the planet back and give it to the singers, but they're really not. Yeah. They're not actually doing that. They just don't know how to be anything else and do anything else.
Yeah, and Venli is coming to the realization throughout this whole thing that like they're never gonna fucking let us be free.
No, never.
It's just never gonna happen.
No.
We meet the pursuer. Who is called the Pursuer because he was the first person to get killed by a human, and he's the pettiest bitch in the fucking world.
We did like meet him, but we get
but we actually meet him as a person.
Yeah.
And he is, so he refuses to let there be a human alive who's killed him. Mm-hmm. And so every time he dies, he comes back and just starts trying to kill humans who have killed him. And he's never failed before, and it is his tradition, and it's like famous among the fused, so they let him break their own like rules to do it. Yeah. And I love that he's a war hero because he was the first to die. Yeah. Like it's not like he like did some great thing. He lost.
Well, and
He
that's
was
the thing.
the first one to lose.
He is famous because he keeps losing.
I know. He keeps like
He just
gets
has the
killed all
benefit
fucking time.
of being able to be reborn again that his enemies don't have.
No,
He actually sucks.
He cracked me up. He's such a like weak little shit.
I know.
And Leshwi,
She's like,
in the funniest way possible, was like, I'm actually like, my tradition is that I got killed by Kaladin first.
yeah, so I actually have to kill him. So
like,
eat shit.
Leshwi, you're like the bad guy, I guess, but like, fuck, I love you so much. You're so petty.
I know.
You're so cunty. Like, Leshwi shows up to this meeting serving cunt, and I was like, yes, girl.
Yeah.
Yes, this is for the gays.
Yeah. Garrett's like, the pursuer never failing to kill someone who has killed him is no big flex. Hard to fail a test you can retake over and over. Basically, like an open book test that you can take over and over because you get to fight them multiple times.
It is like mildly impressive that he's never gone into a being sent away for 1,000 years.
Oh, because he immediately kills himself.
Well, no, but it's impressive that it's just never happened. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, that he wasn't aware.
That there wasn't like one time where there was like a quirk of timing.
No, his pettiness extends so far that the moment that like they get caught again in this cycle, he just fucking offs himself.
Yeah.
So that no one else can do it. Like what commitment, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Judah, thank you for that super chat. I also think the singer-fused culture is continuously perpetuated by Odium himself. Oh, of course. He could make things better, he just doesn't. No, Odium really is the bad guy, but it is just fascinating that meeting the listeners before meeting the singers and how that changed what I thought their society was going to be like. And I'm like, yeah, I get why the listeners fucked off. And we're like, we're gonna break this snip snot. We're not dealing with this Odium void shit anymore.
Fuck. Dreamshake Junior says, the Pursuer is literally a delusional WWE heel stuck in the Cosmere. I'm never gonna unsee that now. Every time he shows up in a scene, it's gonna be like, Kaladin!
Yeah.
You and me, brother. We're going into the ring. And we're gonna fight.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make sure.
Yeah. But he genuinely sucks at his job. Like, he lost their special device. They're like, you lost this device. And he's like, Kaladin said the fourth idea.
Well, it didn't work. Yeah. It didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work. You gave me a faulty, device, so...
The plot of this book is that this guy's gonna hunt Kaladin and Urithiru while everyone's gone, right?
I think so.
That's everyone's gonna go off, and then Kaladin's gonna do fucking, like...
Yeah, and Kaladin's just gonna kick his ass, because...
Kaladin's gonna do... It's gonna be fucking, Die Hard... You know how everything is Die Hard in a thing?
Yeah.
Right? Like, you have Die Hard in a Air Force One is Die Hard in a plane.
Sure.
Die Hard is Die Hard in a building.
I've never seen Die Hard, so
we've never
talked
seen
about this.
Oh my
we've
God!
talked about
We
this.
have to do a reaction tonight
for
to
Christmas.
Die Hard. Oh, yeah, that's funny. Okay, we'll do Die Hard for Christmas. I can't believe you haven't seen Die Hard.
But you've seen it, so
I don't care anymore. We watched Rogue One and it got like 40,000 views. We just need to react to things people like.
That's true. Yeah. No, you know what we should do tonight is the fucking D&D movie.
No, we're gonna do Sinners tonight.
Oh, Sinners. Right.
Yeah, we might do Sinners tonight.
Right.
And then D&D movie on like
Yeah.
Sunday.
I don't know about tonight. We'll see, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe watch D&D tonight and then we'll do Sinners early this week. We are going to do a Sinners reaction, so that's coming. No, I love the Pursuer because he's a fucking
He's the pettiest theater kid you've ever met.
That's what I'm saying. Like this book is
You booked Shrek? Well, I am going to go book Shrek on the national tour.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
What? No, what?
Your example didn't make a lot of sense, but...
No, it's just like, you beat me for the Broadway Les Mis? Well, fuck it, I'm gonna go do the West End Les Mis. Yeah. Eat shit. Like... I can just see somebody who does that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just think that this is gonna be Die Hard. This is gonna be like...
Die Shard.
Die Shard! That's so good. It feels like that's what the book is setting up, right? Because everyone is leaving. Mm-hmm. By the end of this section, everyone has a reason to not be at Urithiru except for, and this is where I think this is going. Mm-hmm. Wait, can I like throw my big prediction out there? This is going to be a team up book.
Beginning the Avengers?
Like... No. Oh. Kind of the opposite. The plot of this book is going to be Yasna, Kaladin, and Zeth fighting off the listener invasion together. It's going to be the weird team up of...
Not if Yasna goes, right? She said, I'm going to go
she's
with.
Going.
No, but I hear you, but she's...
So is it just Kaladin and Zeth? Kaladin's going to have to get Zeth out of his, like, fully lit prison. And it's just going to be Kaladin and Zeth saving Urithiru together?
Yeah, I'm like, who else
Because I don't think
would
they
stay
take
behind?
Zeth with them.
No.
The Windrunners are all going to go.
Yeah.
I just don't know who else. I don't know who
Renarin.
else it could be. Renarin, Kaladin, and Zeth have to fight. That's the perfect team. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
The dream team.
The dream team of
Wonder
a
Girls.
sad boy, a split soul boy, and a sad boy. They're all really sad boys. 3 sad boys save the kingdom.
We got our Wonder Girls and we got our sad boys.
Carrie, Navani's not gonna like fight though. Like Navani, oh no.
Yeah, Navani doesn't.
Navani is going to be. Oh my god, no. I take it all back. Fuck Kaladin.
Navani's gonna invent a gun, Fabio.
No, Navani's. It's Home Alone. Navani is Kevin. It's not Die Hard. It's Home Alone. Navani, Kevin McAllister's her way
with all the Fabrials.
Yeah. Kaladin is too sad to fight. He keeps seizing up.
Oh my
and
God.
So Renarin they're running around Urithiru. This is going to be better than what the actual book's going to do, and it's going to make me sad. No, Renarin is running around carrying Kaladin, while Navani is home aloneing the listeners with all of her little bullshit.
Wow, I really hope that that's what we get, because that would be incredible. Goddamn.
Wait, now I want that book, and I don't think we're gonna get it.
I know.
We're gonna get something more serious, but I kind of want Navani to be like dropping Fabrial paint cans down staircases and shit.
Yeah, right? Oh, wow. Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm.
I love that so much. Yeah, anyways. Listener...
Rheumatoid arthritis shows up. What's her fucking name?
Raboniel.
Yeah.
When I heard, I thought of Rabina, it's like this like concentrated drink thing that you add to water.
To do what?
It tastes good. It's like fruity.
Oh, it's like Crystal Light or something like that?
Yeah, but it's like a syrup.
Oh, so it's like that Mio stuff?
Sure, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Rabina, and that's what I... Yeah, Raboniel is who we get.
Life before death, you filthy animal. Yeah, that's funny. God, now I want Home Alone in Urithiru so bad. Yeah,
know, right?
Raboniel. So Raboniel is this like crazy fuse. Used to be one of the 9. Built a virus. She basically like built
chemical
COVID-19.
warfare. Yeah.
It was supposed to kill more people than it actually did.
And then yeah, it was like 1 in 10 or 1 in 100, and you were like, oh well, that's useless.
I mean, it's not useless. That's still a lot of people.
It's just
1
bad.
in 10 humans is an insane amount of humans.
Sure, but it is one of those things where it's just bad. It's not actually helpful. It's just kind of sad. Like it just kind of sucks.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
It's pretty devastating.
Yeah.
If you killed off 10% of the human population, COVID killed what, like 0.01, I think, and that was fucking devastating.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. It's the fucking Spanish flu. Just sweeps through Roshar.
Yeah. And so Raboniel, we find out the very interesting information that the sibling has the X-eyes from that Maya has.
Yeah.
And is still present, but like dead because his friend can't really die.
Yes. And I think that they can come back because Adolin is very insistent that he keeps Maya and that he really wants to go to Shadesmar, I think, to see if he can like help her. Yeah.
Yes. He is cheating on Shallan with Maya a little bit, but you know.
Emotional relationships are not cheating.
So we learn that Raboniel's new plan is to sneak into the tower, take over the defense mechanisms, and turn off Stormlight. Right? Oh, that's why it's Home Alone.
Invert it. Yeah.
Yes, because Kaladin won't be able to. Kaladin will be somewhat functional, but no one else will. All of the Radiants who are still there will basically be useless because they're all going to be so cooked on being used to their Stormlight. So Kaladin's going to have to do shit.
Yeah. Yeah, Kaladin's going to be the only one who's like got training. But yeah, they need to invert the heart. Is that what they called it?
Yeah, the heart, which is the like. I think it's the
gemstone
that Midnight
pole.
Mommy had wrapped herself around.
Yeah. So that somehow stops the Fuse from using their powers there. There's a way they think
she's
to
going to be able
invert
to
it.
take... Well, and the reason I think Home Alone is she says, I'm going to be able to take control of the booby traps or whatever. Mm-hmm. She didn't say booby traps, obviously. But I think that Navani's going to, like... I think Navani's going to be, like individually turning the booby traps back to their side. And that's the Home Alone of it all. Like, Raboniel will have access to the tower, but Navani will be, like, slowly hacking. She's going to be Fabrial hacking with aluminum, because the aluminum will block the connection to the heart. And so she'll use aluminum to Fabrial hack her way to victory.
Love it.
I think I'm coming up with a pretty fucking great book. I don't even care about Elmo anymore. I want to stay in Urithiru and...
Elmo?
Yeah, wherever... I don't know. The place they're going to go fight the Fused.
Oh.
Emul?
That's it.
Elmo.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
I'm so into this idea now.
Oh my god.
I just want to write a Home Alone book now.
So they do mention Taravangian, that they have like a contact, which I had forgotten that, like, Zeth was like, oh yeah, I worked for Taravangian. Like, I had forgotten that happened.
Yeah.
My bad. But
when I think it was in an audiobook reaction, you were like,
I was like, wait
do
a
they
minute.
know about Taravangian? And I was like, yes, they know about Taravangian.
Yeah, I completely forgot about the Zeth of it all, to be honest.
It's what happens when you go and read Mistborn Era 2 after, in between books.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I love Leshwi's perspective here of, like, I don't actually believe that we're doing the like, that we are trying to win this war. It feels like if we just fuck up what's left, then the singers won't have anything.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point
100%.
of all that? She also offers all of her servants up to Raboniel as, like, ooh, I'm so sorry that I interrupted you, teehee, so that Venli can spy on her.
Well, and we also, before we
poor
get
Venli.
before we get to that, Moash is in the meeting.
Oh.
Like, up on a ledge, like he's fucking Batman.
He's just, like, creeping. And they're like, well, we can't do anything about him because, like, Odeon chose him, so.
But I also love that he's like, Kaladin's gonna stop you. And they're like, we can handle Kaladin. And Moash
He's
is
just
like,
a human.
all right, bud, but sure, fuck me, I guess.
Yeah.
He's only stopped every other thing you've tried to do.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that.
But I also love that Moash isn't like, I'll come stop Kaladin. Moash is like,
All right.
you do you, bud.
If you say so. Yeah.
Moash and Leshwi both were so sassy towards everyone at this meeting. I kind of loved it.
I know. The final moment of this chapter is that they're gonna infiltrate Urithiru, and Timber is like, "Ooh, wait, maybe we can, like, learn how to use our powers and shit."
Yeah. Well, because Venli brings up to Leshwi, she's like, well, what about, like, listeners a new listener colony? And Venli's like, never, or Leshwi's like, never, fucking bring that.
Shut your face.
I will fuck you up.
Yeah, she's like, if
don't think I
anyone's
will.
listening.
So, that Venli's plan isn't going to happen, but she is going to go on the mission, and Timber says we could find a Radiant to teach us, and Venli is like, yes, we could kidnap a Radiant.
Yeah, I know.
That's
force
gonna
them
happen.
to, yeah. Chapter 15.
15.
So Kaladin has officially announced that he's promoted. So he promotes Sigzol and Scar.
No, he isn't officially announced that he's promoted. In fact, he is, like, he won't decide what he's going to do, and so they just start promoting people without telling them what's going on with Kaladin. They're like, Kaladin is going to do something.
Yeah, we're just getting some help to take on duties. Why Sigzol was not already doing the books and shit, I don't know. That seems like a serious oversight to me.
The fact that Kaladin was ever in charge of, like, feeding the troops just feels like a mismanagement on that part.
This also, like, there's so much about Kaladin in this book that I went, oh my god.
Yes.
Because he went to go see R'laine and it's like, hey R'laine, I forced a spren to bond you. And R'laine's like, no thanks?
Yes.
What the fuck, dude?
We go watch the reaction to
Our
this.
reaction, we're like...
We cringed so hard at Kaladin fucking this up.
Well,
and
it was the most cringe.
I was a little disappointed in Kaladin just because I feel like Kaladin, because of the way he experienced the, like, Dark Eyes, Light Eyes relationship, should have a better understanding here. Just think about how much Kaladin struggled with even the idea that his Shard Blade would make him a Light Eyes. Right? Like, Kaladin really struggled with these ideas. in a way that I was a little surprised at the lack of understanding from Kaladin here.
I just don't really think that has anything to do with like a spren bond. Like, I'm not really sure how those things relate.
Because
Kaladin thinks he does the best for everybody, even if he doesn't understand like why people like what they like or want what they want, right? He's like,
sure,
oh, it is best for you to have a spren bond, but he's actually not like very good with the human emotion side of things.
And I think it's good writing on Brandon Sanderson's part.
Yeah,
like it is consistent with Kaladin. It just makes me disappointed in Kaladin.
Yeah,
for not like taking what his relationship is with like being marginalized and understanding. He just isn't able to empathize with the way in which R'lain feels marginalized, right? And it was just it's sad. It's sad for R'lain. It's sad for Kaladin. It's you know, Kaladin. It's so funny. Like Kaladin, obviously, at the end of this, he wants to be a surgeon, and I guess he understands the physical side of people, but he just doesn't understand people at all. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have the requisite empathy to be a good leader in some ways.
Yeah, but
he's a great military leader.
Yeah,
but he's not really a good leader.
Yeah, which is why I think like this,
in the way that Adolin is, right?
Yes, right. I think that this moment is so necessary because he starts to have that moment of like, but why doesn't R'lain want this? Like, what is wrong here? What did I miss? Like, he starts to realize that there's something more going on that he just hasn't taken the time to think about or investigate. Again, Kaladin is like so tunnel vision with the fate of the world. It's a pretty big thing, and I don't blame him for having that tunnel vision. But it is very hard for him to see anything outside of his blinders.
He's so tunnel vision, but he also lies here. Like, he makes it worse by lying.
Why?
Because
what lie?
His agreement with the Spren is not that the Spren has to bond R'lain.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't. His agreement with the Spren is that the Spren has to spend a week trying. That's not the same thing, right? What he and the Spren agree to in our first week of reading, and what he because he goes to R'lain and he's like, I said he has to bond you. And that isn't what they agreed to.
Yeah, he's like, you have 10 days. You have 10 days to bond him. I thought that it was pretty definitive.
But not, or else, like, but there's no, but the Spren was like, and then if things between me and R'lain don't work out in 10 days, I will find somebody else. All Kaladin agrees to with the Spren is that the Spren will try R'lain first. And then Kaladin goes to R'lain and says, I said he had to bond you. That's not the same thing. And I think that if you'd gone to R'lain and been like, I found a Spren who is open to it, you guys have 10 days to try, and then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Well, that's also a lie. He wasn't open to it. Kaladin said you have to.
He's open enough to it, though. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, Kaladin makes it seem like he's saying...
Yeah, he does a very bad job at handling this conversation.
But he makes it worse by misrepresenting what the deal is.
Yeah.
And I just found that odd. I was like, dude, he really fucks this up.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Kaladin is too... Yeah, he's just too tunnel vision. He's too in his own head to see what's going on with the people around him.
Yeah, Dream Shake Shy, I completely agree with you. Like, he made it worse for himself by lying about it.
Yeah.
In a way that, like, just seems like... Kaladin, unfortunately, seems a little dumb. In this book in particular.
Just with people. I think he's very smart, very tactical, very, like, logical, but does not have the, like, social awareness at all times.
In any of those things in this book in particular.
Well, no, because he hasn't been... I mean, he kicked ass in the fights, right? Like, he can fight... incredibly. He had like his tactics, his ideas, his contributions to the war efforts have obviously been like pretty incredible, but he's just very bad with like
I don't know that
people.
His contributions to the war effort tactically have been that great. I think that he has been leaning on the fact that he's just the best windrunner too much. I think I don't think we've seen that tactical side of Kaladin in a while.
Yeah.
I think that's been missing for me a little bit from him.
Yeah, it's also that it's been a year, right? So
yeah, but even at the end of Oathbringer, like I don't really think like tactically Kaladin is the best in any of that. I think Kaladin kind of got depressed when the Moash killed Elhokar, and since then I don't know that I don't know that he has been intellectually the most valuable character.
Yeah, sure.
In a very interesting way, right? Like the Moash killing Elhokar seems to have broken Kaladin in more ways than just his depression.
Yes.
It also kind of feels like he is a very reactionary character right now, but he's not putting a lot of thought into things.
Mm-hmm.
And the consequences of that are that he's kind of hurting his relationships with everyone, and sometimes in very unnecessary ways.
Yeah.
Which is only feeding into his depression worse, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Then we get to Xyle. Because Kaladin is looking for some
and again,
kind
I think
of
that's
direction.
good writing by Brandon Sanderson. I don't like. I'm not. That's not a complaint about the book. That's my sadness at like what Kaladin's emotional state is doing to him, which I think is very well written.
Yeah,
I feel like I have to say that because I feel like people are like, you're saying you don't like Kaladin here. I'm like, yeah, because he's fucking up. Not because the book's bad.
It's intentional.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
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 I feel like I have to defend myself a lot on this podcast against criticisms that might come in the future.
We just want to be very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, Xyle is doing laundry.
Mm-hmm.
And Kaladin's like, yeah, they're making me retire. I think I want to be an ardent and help train people.
Yeah.
And Xyle's like, all right, fight me, bitch. You can't use any of your powers. But Xyle obviously uses breaths and awakening to do some fuckery with these sheets. Very cool fight. Very well written.
It'll look great in animation.
We reacted. Yeah. We reacted to it. It was very fun. I loved how creative this fight was, especially and like how Syl and Kaladin adapt and deal with this. But Xyle,
I didn't love how much of people's private property they destroyed.
Oh yeah, they fully like drained the color and like twisted up, and I don't know.
They ripped through a bunch of people's sheets.
No, because right, they were like
they cut up. Kaladin cuts through a lot of people's clothes.
They're sheets. It's fine. Just square pieces of fabric.
Sure.
Yeah. They do vandalize some people's property, turn them gray and slice them up. It's fine. I'm sure they've got the budget to replace those. But yeah, Xyle is like, you can't join us. You like to fight too much. You gotta hate it. You gotta be done with it before you can do what we do.
Yeah.
And then we get
which feels like really helpful advice for Kaladin's problem.
Yeah. Then we get all the lore drop of the Cosmere. Kaladin's like, wait a second, I've seen someone fight like you before. And Xyle's like, yeah, she fights like me. He
says, you fight like Azure. And
he's
like, no,
she fights
Azure
like
fights
me.
like me.
Yeah. Because we have magic powers, actually, that you can't use.
And so there's type 1 invested entities, which are Spren, things that are made of investiture. Then there's type 2, which are things like Xyle, which are people who die either with a lot of investiture in them or are infused with investiture when they die, and so their soul gets a imprint that stays. And so Xyle is dead.
Yeah.
There is another Xyle. There's like Xyle 2. Szeth is Szeth 2, but the original Szeth did die. There's just an imprint Szeth that is currently in Szeth.
Yeah. It's like if you make a resin mold and you sculpt the thing and then you make the mold out of the thing and then you pour the resin in the mold.
Yes. Yeah. So it's sort of like how Kaladin died. But he was so full of investiture that his soul lived on or something.
Kaladin?
Or Kelsier.
Oh.
But Kelsier didn't have a body to go to right away. But so that's how Kelsier is also alive. Right? Is this same idea. But Kelsier is dead. But the imprint of Kelsier isn't. Right?
Yep.
Kind of. Maybe. Or that's different. I hope it's not different. I hope that they're just the same thing. Because there's already enough magic systems in this fucking universe.
Yeah. Definitely need to go reread some of the science-y stuff.
What do you think of this idea?
Of when you die, you're dead?
Of it not really being resurrection, but being like a magic copy of you comes back in your body.
I don't know. Does that mean there's two of you that exist? Because there is a spiritual realm where like people die and go to.
No, because no. The spiritual realm isn't the beyond. Because Sazed says in Bands of Mourning that when Wax dies, does that mean that Wax is now immortal? Oh shit! Did Wax become immortal in Bands of Mourning? Because he died and came back filled with investiture.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh fuck! He became like Zyle then, right? Or Szeth, or... That's fascinating. What level of invested entity is Wax now?
So is he gonna be the main character of Mistborn Era 3 as well? Even though it's
he
like
could still
way
be
in the
around,
future?
yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, because, you know, Marsh is still around from Mistborn Era 1. Kelser's still around from Mistborn Era 1.
Mm-hmm.
It would stand to reason Wax could now be around for Mistborn Era 3. Holy shit.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
cool.
if that's how this works, if it's like you die and then you come back from that because of investiture, which is what happened to Wax, then he is now an imprint soul person, which doesn't seem to make that big of a difference, except that Zyle says that's why she takes our memories from us, which I don't know what the fuck that meant.
No fucking clue.
Because it doesn't seem like Zyle doesn't have his memories, or that like Szeth does. Szeth seems to have all of his memories.
Yeah, that I have no idea what that means.
Yeah. Spencer D says, I'm pretty sure Wax didn't die. He was just mostly dead.
No, it said Wax
definitely died.
Literally the sentence, and then Wax died.
Yeah. And so him being brought back with investiture doesn't mean that he wasn't given CPR. He was brought back magically.
Yeah.
So Wax is probably immortal. Szeth is probably technically immortal at this point, which is crazy. The Returned as well. Yeah, the Returned from fucking Warbreaker, right. But the Returned are different. The Returned are different, and this is why Zyle's different, because they come back without their memories. But Szeth didn't come back without his memories, right? So there is some difference there, because the Returned on Warbreaker do not remember their lives fully. But everywhere else, they remember their lives. Kelsier remembers his life. Szeth remembers his life. Wax remembers his life. So the Returned losing their memories might have to be to do with the shard on... What was that planet? What planet was that? Warbreaker? Is Warbreaker Nalthis? Zyle is returned. Blue Sun says Zyle is returned. Recall that Lightsong heard a female voice before returning. Yeah, that is Nalthis. Okay. Which is interesting that the Ghostbloods want to go to Nalthis, right? Nalthis and Scadrial specifically. Well, because you can steal investiture from people. Well, you can't steal. It has to be given willingly. Claris just yelled, you can steal investiture from people. But no, the breaths have to be given willingly, right? Yeah. Interesting. Wow. This just cracked open in the weirdest way. It's also... the schedule of it all is interesting to me, because I feel like there's no lack of, like... There's no... They're not missing out on investiture on schedule. Like, you just meddle, right? And now with the medallions, it feels like they have investiture everywhere, but whatever. Yeah. This is a long... There's so much in this conversation with Zyle. Like, we could do a whole book club just on this conversation. You go line by line. There's so much. It's such a lore dump.
There's a lot going on.
It felt like a lore dump, though. I felt the exposition of this.
It only felt like a lore dump because Kaladin has no frame of reference for any of this information.
And doesn't seem to really care. Like, Kaladin's like, oh, okay.
He's like, I'm sure that means something. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, sure, whatever you say, bud.
Well, yeah. It goes a little bit back to my kind of like the way the Cosmere is kind of grading against these stories to me. Is I'm like, was this Kaladin comes to Zyle and is like, I can't fight. And Zyle, the only relevant thing that Zyle says to Kaladin about that is like, you still love fighting too much to be this. And I'm like, that doesn't help his problem. And then Zyle's like, and now let me tell you about me and Hoyd and what we are. And Kaladin's like, I actually do have a real problem. Like this is all great, and like I'm sure the audience is really loving that this is in the book. But I came to you for help on something.
Like,
and
how does this help me?
You just told me that I love fighting too much, but I can't fight anymore. So that's actually not helpful. But I'm sure the people reading the book loved this lore dump.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's where I was like, I didn't feel very immersed in it.
Well, and it does kind of bring it back to the like Xyle, like what he wants and what he cares about. Like, why did he reveal this? Like, he revealed it to a person who like can't even really do anything with this information because they have no context for what it means. Is he just like, God, I've just been sitting on this for so long. I need to tell somebody something.
And the flute got brought up again.
The flute, yeah. How dare you lose his flute? I was like, what?
I swear to God, that flute better be the most important MacGuffin in Wind and Truth. Like the fate of the universe better ride on this fucking flute, because I want to like burn the concept of flutes from human memory.
Yeah,
that's dramatic. I genuinely think the flute is the dumbest thing.
I will say though, Mraize and Xyle being opposites, and like Mraize is like, you're gonna just go somewhere and you'll know what to do when you get there, and Xyle being like, oh, you want to know what I am? Well, so here is the entire textbook of what this means. And Kaladin's like, I didn't realize that the question would be so complicated, but at least you were honest with me. Like,
I feel like there's got to be an in-between. There's just got to be an in-between.
Yeah.
Or this stuff is all really relevant by the end of the book.
Hey, it might be.
I do sometimes feel like this stuff, I'm like, this is for the Coppermind.
Yeah.
Like, this is the part of the book that is for people who want to write about it online.
No, I think what's going on is that, like, how the fuck else do you beat Odium? Like, they are going to need all of this relevant information about how the world works, how the Cosmere works, to be able to defeat Odium. It just hasn't come together in a way yet that I can be like, oh, that's what they're going to do.
Mad Hatter says, thanks for the super consequential info that will never make it to someone who it'd actually benefit. You know what scene I want desperately in my Home Alone version, where Navani and Kaladin end up alone trying to solve this problem in the tower? Mm-hmm. Kaladin tries to relay this information to Navani.
Oh my God.
Like, it would crack me the fuck up.
Yeah.
To have a scene where Kaladin tries to repeat this
to
Navani in a way that makes sense.
Ones and type 2s, and 2s are they die and they're like a mold, you know? And Navani's like, what?
I want that scene so bad.
That'd be great.
Where he's like, yeah, so God. Okay, so yeah, the Spren are type 1. And then so when someone dies, you know how like you can push something into creme and then you can like have that thing, like you can like put like, you can use the creme to like harden, and then you can like that's like a mold, right? And then you take something. So like Xyle's soul is like a key that you make in creme. And Navani's just looking at him like, oh, Kaladin took you out of the field at the right time.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
There's people who have a lot of power that are like old rocks.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know how like rocks can be really old? Yeah, Hoyt
but not like rock, like,
yeah.
You know, like rocks. Yeah.
He goes to Yasna. He's like, okay, so I know that you're sleeping with Hoyt. You should know that at some point he died and his soul was filled with investiture.
Yeah, and then he gave me a flute.
It's still his soul, but it's like not him anymore. He died, but like you're kind of
giving you a flute.
Oh, I mean, she's playing the skin flute for sure.
Chapter 16. Navani is hanging out with Zeth.
Yeah.
Of all people that she likes to go visit.
Tell me again how you killed my husband.
Yeah. Which she's like still upset about, but also I'm like,
he did her a favor.
You don't have to be upset about it.
He did the world a favor, but he did her a favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out the listeners were right to have Gavilar murdered, hey?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
He's just like casually trying to like, destroy the planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Zeth isn't really that helpful. But it is so fascinating that Dalinar was like, no, let him keep that sword. It does mean he can escape, but
also we don't touch that thing.
Yeah,
it seems like a very bad idea.
It's smoking all the time.
Yeah.
Why do you think Zeth can't have any shadows?
He's scared of what's in them.
Okay. I think it has something to do with his soul, with like his soul trailing his body or something.
Oh, he doesn't want them to see the like weird shadow?
I don't know. No, because they've definitely seen it. The thing about Zeth that I find so fascinating is that he would go crazy.
I think it's because he says every time he like closes his eyes, he hears the screams. So I think it's whenever it's dark, he like hears like screaming, and so.
Sure, but we know that if you leave someone in light 24/7,
Oh.
they do lose their like just
Yes.
on a basic scientific level. No one is immune to this.
Yeah.
If you leave someone in a lit room with no connection to a time
Like circadian
cycle,
rhythm, yeah.
they will lose their mind 100% of the time.
Yeah.
We actually, like, human beings need darkness in a weird way, and it's why, like, you know, living in Alaska can be so dangerous, because if you don't kind of build in darkness into your life, you will eventually, like, when it's, and darkness all the time is also dangerous. Our brains literally cannot handle it.
Yeah.
Because I think it was like a Mr. Beast video where like people were like, "This is not okay. Like, you can't do this. This is like considered torture in most countries."
Yeah.
So Zeth is literally like torturing himself in a way that is a nightmare.
Trying to atone. I don't know, but I also love that
but he's
he's
gonna
like
lose his fucking mind.
he's like, I've sworn my ideals to Dalinar, and Navani's like, okay, what happens when he dies? And
I've
Zeth is
never
like,
thought about that.
Huh.
Oh yeah,
that's a good question.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to figure that one out, actually.
I just assumed he'd live forever, and
Yeah.
I would live forever. Because here's the thing: he might be immortal, so Zeth might always have to have a person now.
He's like one of those like he's your friend who is never single, but it just hops from long-term relationship to long-term relationship
Yeah,
because he can't be alone.
yeah.
He's like, I don't know how to cook or do my laundry, so.
But I think that this chapter is mostly here to remind us Zeth is in the tower.
Oh, 100%, because I forgot.
Yeah. I think that
forgot.
it's because I think it's because he's going to be relevant to the attack.
Yes,
When everyone else is gone.
Yes.
Zeth, Sun Villano, man.
Yes.
Yeah. So Navani wants to study the sword, but being around Zeth makes her ill. Do
Yeah.
you think that that's the sword?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's just that Zeth is a little off-putting because he's a murderer and...
Yeah. I'm going to go pee.
Oh, all right.
You talk about a Teravangian.
We're not quite... Oh, when they, like, walk up on the platform. Navani, in this chapter, also meets up with Gavinar. So Gavinar comes back. So we know where the little guy is. And Gavinar's doing pretty good now. But when they first brought him back, he was unwell. He was way too quiet. He also is very small for his age in a way that they seem kind of concerned about. But I do the most heartbreaking part of this section was Navani holding him and trying to force herself to not think about Elhokar. Right, to be present in this moment with Gavinar and just not think about like Elhokar lying dead on the floor. So that I'm not gonna lie, that scene was pretty rough. I hope that Gavinar is okay. I think that it's because we don't know what happened to him and because we saw like Spren like torturing him and stuff that I am a little bit worried about this child. But depending on the timeline of this series, I actually don't know how old Gavinar is going to get over the course of it. Malnourished, but it's been a year. It's been a year, and like kids are pretty resilient and have the ability to bounce back. So I don't actually know. I don't actually know if it's like a magical thing, a Spren thing, or if it literally just is that he was malnourished for an extended period of time. Yeah, I hope Gavinar's okay. But she goes to the research station, and they talk about the atmosphere around the tower, and...
Carrion says Gavinar can help Navani home alone Urithiru.
Oh my god, that would be great, actually.
Yeah.
she notices Taravangian and Dalinar promenading.
Promenading?
I mean, yeah,
Oh
kind
my.
of. They're like, oh, yes, they often come this way. She's like, why are people bowing? Oh, yeah, not me. She goes to chat with some, engineers who are making telescopes.
Yeah.
Which is very cool. She gives them the weird sphere and is like, hey, this sphere isn't void light, I don't think. It looks like a little bit different. I was going to research it. I don't have time for that, actually. So if you could do that, that would be awesome.
Well, she doesn't want to, but she's like, fuck, I do have to delegate.
Yes.
Her having to delegate was interesting. I like that.
We could learn from her.
We're delegating like crazy. What are you talking about?
We're doing our best.
We have a lot of people doing stuff for us now.
Yeah.
We got employees.
I do love, though, that every time there's any kind of scientific thing or Fabriel thing, Navani is like, this is not me. It's just nice that I can be around when these people...
It's just nice that my theories are always correct.
I know. Like, literally, like, she has that full conversation with, what's his face, about how they're going to use the lift system. And he's like, that's brilliant. And she's like, no, it's really not. You guys, I did nothing. I did not contribute here at all.
If everyone in this book can be like reduced down to a mental illness, which I don't think they can, but like if you wanted to play that game, hers would be imposter syndrome.
Yeah, 1,000%. She's like, no, I'm not actually helpful here. I just have the money.
Chapter 17. Oh, no, wait. This ends with them going into a room. Yes. And the mink is like, where's the map?
Yeah.
And then Shallan and Dalinar are like...
And Shallan and Dalinar are like, I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map.
And they build a map.
Yeah. And the mink takes a look at that.
The mink asks some great questions, immediately figures out that they don't trust Taravangian just by looking at the map.
Immediately, and is also like, yeah, you know, you killed my family. And they're like,
well, no, he's like, my family died, and they're like, oh, in the war, this war, and he's like, oh no, not this war.
He's like, nope,
not this war, Dalinar.
Nope, not this one. Just making sure you know that.
But I also like the moment here where the mink is like, because Dalinar is like, I'm like sorry, and I would like to work with you. It's not exactly what he says, but the mink's response to the moment is, you know, I wouldn't have believed that until I read that book. Until my sister read that book to me.
Yes.
And I think you mean that. I think you're being sincere.
Yeah.
And I do, like, you know, as much as Dalinar is struggling in the world because of what he wrote and the way it's made his family be viewed and the way it's affected his soldiers and how, you know, that there is a line in the book about how Dalinar soldiers don't walk with their heads as high as they used to. There's a genuine element of like the leadership of this world is responding to him because of it in a way that is going to maybe win them the war. And the regular people probably respect him less. But there is this really interesting element where the leadership of this world, the minks of this world, respect him more.
Yeah, exactly.
And feel like they can trust a man who they never would have trusted before.
Yep.
And I find that fascinating. I love it. I think it's a great detail. And I think that the writing of the book at the end of Oathbringer is so consequential to all these relationships.
Yeah.
I also love the moment where he's like, we don't have time for that. And she's like, you wrote a book this year?
Oh, no, it's not that we don't have time for that. It's later on when Yasna is like, yeah, we're going to end slavery. And Dalinar is like, you can't just, you know, like upend our social norms like that. And she's like, you wrote a fucking book.
Yeah.
You wrote and published a book. So don't give me that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yasna does arrive with Wit.
Who is she's fucking?
Everyone thinks that they are. I think it's possible. Look, if I were queen and all the men around me gave me the ick, right?
Yeah.
you start dating an immortal being from a different planet. Like that's how most like romantasy books go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also has like all the powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can probably do some really fun shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the mink is like, so what's the deal here? And they're like, well, we want to retake Alethkar. And he's like, do you want the truth? Because that's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
And they're like, damn it, you're right. And he suggests that they reclaim Emil instead because it gives you a win.
And Dalinar knows Dalinar's always known he just needs someone else to tell him it was the thing he had to do.
Yes, he knew it was the more strategic decision, But just...
Even though Tervangian is definitely going to betray them.
Yeah, I mean, there was a whole interval.
Oh, I know.
Or interlude.
No, but they already know. Like, they know. I didn't need... Honestly, one of the least surprising interludes of the entire series.
Yeah.
Because of Tervangian to be like, just so you know, I'm going to betray... It felt like a fucking Inspector Gadget cartoon.
Yeah.
I'm the bad guy.
Yeah. We're like, yes, we are aware of that.
Thank you for that super chat.
Thank you, Linus. Let's fucking go.
Love to have book club back, but time to go see Iron Maiden. Love
Hell
y'all.
Yeah.
We get it.
Have the best time.
Book club will be here forever. Iron Maiden won't be.
Wow.
What?
I mean, yeah.
How?
There might be videos.
Oh no, 100%. But like, look, how many more live performances are Iron Maiden gonna do? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Every single performance they have left is a gift. Every performance they've ever performed is a gift.
True.
They're fucking great.
Yeah.
But like, you
we
know,
are blessed.
there are some bands where you're like, there is a not because they're gonna die, but just like, you know, how long are they really gonna have the energy to do what they do?
Tour.
You know
like,
what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, fuck.
Touring is a lot.
I have so much respect for those bands that have kept it going for their fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
Anytime anyone complains about a band doing another farewell tour to me, I'm like, what are you complaining about?
Yeah.
Do you know how much joy that's going to bring people?
Yeah.
Do you know what that means to the people who love them? Mm-hmm. Fuck off with that shit. Let them do another farewell tour.
Yeah.
People look, and like the scalpers ruining ticket prices, I do hate. Don't get me wrong. Like, I understand that there's problems with it, but like if Aerosmith goes out again, I'm not sitting there like they said they were done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you're like, oh, that's a really lovely surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If your complaint is like, well, I thought I was at the final one and that was special to me. Fuck off with that shit.
I know.
Someone is going to go to that concert. It's going to be the best night of their life, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hell yeah. Might be the best night of your life, Linus. So
yeah,
enjoy.
So have fun, Linus.
Yeah.
Do not feel bad for missing book club.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. And we'll be better next week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are we not good?
I mean, I had to deal with a sprinkler guy. I forgot to make my gamer subs before.
We're a mess, guys. We have 1 week off from book club, and it's just all gone to shit.
Yeah. Really, really, really disappointed. We have like 7 chapters left, and we're at
Okie dokie. The Mink is like, this is your strategy, and Dalinar's like, yep, you right, you smart boy.
I love the Mink.
He's pretty great, actually.
I'm just generally a fan of the Herdazians, but I like a Herdazian who's funny, but also a little bit more serious. The Mink is like Dawn Shard Lopin, not previous Lopin.
Yeah, for sure.
I like Dawn Shard Lopin
like, he still is like doing his weird Houdini stuff, but it is very funny.
Also, Shallan being so into him is great.
I don't remember that.
Shallan is like, I need you to teach me.
Oh,
like,
how did you do that?
Yeah, because she's obsessed with her spy shit.
Yeah.
She's like, the Mink is like her like dream mentor. He's this like quirky little man who can get out of anything, and she's like, wait. And Adelin's like,
do that again.
Shallan's, I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah. But Wit goes to get the heralds. And while Wit is gone, Yasna's like, no slavery. And honestly, here for it.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in Dalinar, but...
Wit brings back Ash and Taln. Taln's still not able to function. They're even a little worried about Ash. They're like, oh man, I don't know. Like...
For a good reason.
Yeah, we're going to trust these people as far as we can. Don't know how far that is yet.
We get a lot of them. They're still trying to figure out what the fuck a bondsmith does.
Yes, and they really realize the bondsmith is what made the oath pact. Where
well, no, they knew that already.
Yes, but that Dalinar might be able to restore it somehow.
I just don't see that. I don't think that's where this is going.
No, I
don't think
I don't think so.
Sending the fuse back to Braze so that this happens again in Stormlight 6 is the long-term plot.
No,
of this.
I can't see that being.
Although I would actually prefer that to trapping all the fused and gemstones. So
true. Yes.
Because I think that's a nightmare.
Oh God, yeah.
But yeah.
Yup. Basically, lifetime of torture.
It is interesting the heralds aren't that helpful. Like that.
They don't know shit.
Yeah. And society has gotten to a point where they're like, you guys are doing stuff like
They're barely more helpful than the Fused are, right? Like, the Fused are all half mad or, like, don't know what they're doing.
Well, we didn't talk about it in the Fused chapter, but the Fused are like, how the fuck did they build an airship? Like, the Fused have been around for thousands of years. They've destroyed human society all these times, and they're like, we don't know how that works.
They do keep coming back and making new discoveries and finding different things, right?
Life.
Humanity is weird like that.
Finds a way.
Yeah. But we get to chapter 18, Surgeon. Mm-hmm. Like a surgeon.
That's what you wanted the title of this video to be, and then I forgot. So last night I was like, Claris, what are we naming the video? And you came up with one that was didn't make any sense.
No, there was one that was just too long.
That one was funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what was the long one? It was a surgeon.
Oh no, it was like it was DID, ADHD, and depression all walk into a bar. Yeah.
But there's a 100 character limit. And then you were like sibling rivalry. And I was like...
Because they mentioned the sibling a bunch.
I know, but there's no rivalry.
Yeah.
I was very confused by that one. But then you said like a surgeon. I was like, oh, that's funny. And then I turned away from you.
And you forgot.
You
forgot how funny I am.
I think I looked at my computer and there was like something, like a notification. And then the like a surgeon disappeared. And so it's called what it's called.
Yep.
That's my bad.
How dare you?
But so Kaladin gives his family the tour of Urithiru, and then his dad is like, I am useless now that there's magic. And Kaladin's
AI is taking my job.
My guy, we have 53 people.
Slow your roll.
There is a planet.
Yeah.
There's 53 edge days. Like, shit.
Yeah. And also, they can't
have 3
help...
Truth Watchers. Like, let's chill.
They can't do shit about old wounds.
Yeah.
Like, they're...
Or, like, illnesses, really, right? Like...
I don't know about that.
They can cure, like...
I'm assuming they cannot cure illnesses only because Rabina made a plague. And the Edge Dancers weren't able to cure that. So...
Unless the Edge Dancers are why so many people survived.
Oh, and it would have... Maybe.
But, like, I think that the Edge Dancers are limited.
Yeah. I don't think that they can treat diseases.
They literally have vaccines, which is so fascinating.
Not yet. They're working on it.
They're working on vaccines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So RFK Jr. will pull the books from the shelves. Read Stormlight Archive while you can in the United States.
Jesus Christ. They're going to be like, this is pro-vaccine propaganda, actually.
The crazy thing is, look, book burning is a problem, but, like, can you imagine trying to burn all the copies of the Storm? Like, so many pages. This isn't like 1940s Germany where, like, books were small. You're going to start a forest fire. You know what I mean? Actually, that's not true. Wind and Truth. War and Peace. It was also fucking massive, but I don't think it's even close to Wind and Truth. Sure. How many words is War and Peace? That's a great fucking question.
Never read it.
Sorry to make a political joke. I just think it's relevant that
it is relevant.
I like books, and I don't think they should be burned.
But yeah, Lyren is having this sad moment where Kaladin's like, look, I got you a surgery room. I hope you like it. And Lyren's like, yeah, I mean, thanks. It sucks, though, because none of this matters. And Kaladin's like, you shut your dirty whore mouth, actually. We need people like you. In fact, I am also going to be a surgeon if you'll have me.
I think War and Peace is longer than Wind and Truth.
How long is it?
It is 560 to 587,000 words, depending on the translation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Roach, welcome to the Nerds Radiant. Thank you for being here. Yeah, 491 for...
Yeah, War and Peace is significantly longer.
Wow.
Although in the original Russian, it's between 460 and 470,000 words.
Oh.
The fact that it could be... the fact that the range of it is 10,000 words is very odd to me.
Yeah, I don't...
Depending on the version.
Sure.
Like, the original Russian version is shorter, at around 460 to 470,000 words.
Maybe they added, like...
Yeah.
Stuff. I don't know. But yeah, Kaladin's like, man, I can never make my dad happy. And then Kaladin's like, yeah, what if I was a surgeon again? And it is the, like, happiest that Lyren has ever been in his entire life.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
This moment was very sweet.
It was beautiful.
The fact that, like, Hearthstone is going to have these apartments together and that Kaladin has, like, spent so much of his money building this for them and getting this ready for them. And that Syl is also excited about this.
Yeah.
right? Like there's so many elements of this that I think it's such a great chapter. And you know, the Kaladin's dad being like, well, we're gonna do this together, and Kaladin being like, you're gonna be a surgeon, and Kaladin being like, yeah, I'm gonna be a surgeon.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
That, of course it's that. What else would it have been? I don't think that's what's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna last very long.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah. There's definitely gonna be other shit going on. Chapter 19. Garnet.
And Roach, thank you for joining the Nerds Radiant.
Hell yeah.
What's up, and Roach?
Navani visits Rushu, and Rushu's like, look, we thought we had a lead for this pillar thing. It turns out we've made absolutely no progress. But the suppression fabrial thing that you got, if we bop over, it does have a spren on the other side.
Yeah.
But that spren didn't like us very much. In fact, it went like, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you, and it seemed like it was like working with odium. So that's useful information.
Yeah. And then we get Navani using her watch pulley system. How would you describe this thing?
Oh, I have no fucking clue.
She like points her arm and then she gets pulled in that direction.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Great. Yeah, me neither. I don't really. I was like, sure, yeah. I know this is gonna be important later, and she's gonna use it to like Batman around Urithiru
no, to
somehow.
Home Alone it.
Well, no, but I mean that's like Batman like grappling hooks like that.
Yeah.
I just was kind of like.
But other people have to move a different direction for that. I don't. Yeah.
No, they just have to move one direction, and then she chooses what direction she goes in with that device.
Yeah.
It's very cool. I know that it's going to be useful.
It is. It will be important.
100% understand how it's going to be useful right now.
You're also gonna have to have really strong shoulder joints.
Yes.
Like if speed...
When they say like if we drop the fucking stone down this shaft, it's just gonna rip your fucking arm off.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, but they're gonna make it look like a crossbow so that people. I did like Navani being like, you're gonna work on the big version, so that we can fly the ship easier.
Yeah.
Your son or nephew is gonna work on the small version. Have him make it look like a crossbow, because if it looks cool, people will like it.
Yeah.
And I was like, Navani gets branding.
Yeah.
Not only is she brilliant about the science side, Navani gets marketing.
Yeah.
Navani would have taken the off Facebook.
Oh yes, 100%. She would not have allowed the Lord of the Rings of Power to be named as such.
The Lord of the Rings of Power, yeah. Yeah. Too many words.
The Coalition of Monarchs meet, and Navani bumps into Taravangian, and I'm assuming he doesn't have any more bad days, right? Because they say that his like act of being like a little like woo all over the place is completely gone.
Oh, interesting. No, I think he still has the same. Oh, maybe odium is protecting him from them or something.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because it doesn't seem like Taravangian was like acting all that much in previous books. Like based on his getting his POV.
Yeah.
Sometimes that was really like who he was.
Yeah, Pinky Armando says he's trending to the norm now.
Yeah.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have the bad days that he did before.
Or maybe Cultivation's, the way that Cultivation's thing worked was that he had that crazy good day, and like that set him off on like kind of like how a spring will eventually stop vibrating back and forth, right?
Oh yeah.
Where like at that moment the variance was widest, and the variance has been like lessening over time. That's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it could be.
Or that, like, I think that now that he's tied to odium somehow, Cultivation's, like, effect on him might be lessened.
Yeah, could be.
Because he spent the last year, like, essentially working for odium, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, Navani calls him out on his bullshit, and he's like, yeah, I did what I did, and I would do it again.
Yeah.
Because I tried to help the people in the best way I could. You're honestly telling me that you think that it would have been better if... What's his butt over there who's like super suspicious? You think you would have trusted Dalinar? No. It's better for everybody that I was here.
Yeah.
And Navani's like, yikes.
Yeah. Well, and she also like agrees with him though.
Oh, she understands the logic of it.
She believes him,
even though it's like terrifying.
And it's
to
why
her.
Taravangian's so fascinating, because it's like he like legitimately is trying to do the best by somebody. Mm-hmm. He is just willing to burn everybody else for it, and I find that fascinating about him.
Yeah,
I think it is very cool that he is this like extreme character. Mm-hmm. I just don't think for 1 second he's gonna die when he betrays Dalinar.
Yeah,
I don't buy it. I think we're stuck with Taravangian for a while.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think he's gonna be a problem for a minute.
I think it's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. When we'll get to the interlude, but he's like, well, this is it, I'm done, and I was like,
oh,
it's because you're saying that I think you're gonna live.
Yeah.
And then I think what's gonna be interesting is because I think that Taravangian's gonna live to be like, oh, I fucked up.
Oh, I mean, I would love that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think like if he just dies thinking that he did save Kharbranth, and he just dies being like, I did my best. Mm-hmm. I am the hero here. That will kind of suck. He betrays Dalinar and gets to die feeling like he succeeded. Yeah. I don't know.
Judah, thank you for that super chat. Gotta go nap before call time for Seussical opening night.
Break a leg.
Tech Week has drained me. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep. We'll watch later. Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
Have a great opening. That's awesome.
We know exactly how Tech Week feels. So please go take a nap.
Every week is Tech Week for us.
Take care of yourself at this point, yeah.
Yeah. So then, they have the meeting where they basically pitch the Amul plan.
Yeah.
And
everybody agrees, which never happened.
Which scares them a little bit. So like, why is Taravangian on board with this?
Navani's like, wait a minute, this is suspicious. I have a theory. Okay, yeah. I have a theory. I know Taravangian's like, I'm going to die, like all this stuff. I have a feeling that it is his last, like, it is a last small act of defiance that he agrees to this plan as wholeheartedly as he does, because I think Taravangian is smart enough that he would know that would make Navani and Dalinar suspicious of his plans, and he wants them to be slightly suspicious so that they know that there's a trap coming from Odium.
I don't think so.
I think he is too on board with this, and he knows that would be a warning.
Yeah.
And I think that his deal with Odium, right, probably like word for word, is that if I do this, you will protect these people. And he can do that. He can be like, yeah, totally agree, 100%. But if his agreement sets off alarm bells and they figure it out, it doesn't void his agreement with Odium that his people are still protected. So I think that's why he agrees to this plan immediately. Yeah. And so, because he steps in and is very vocal about it. If they'd come around to him and he'd be like, yeah, you know what? Well, everyone else agrees, so I'm going to agree. But he makes sure that he agrees before Fen even does. Like, he deliberately takes that step.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And so I think it is possible that this is a last small, like, act of, like, I've done what I can, and at least I know my people are protected. But there are people that are left behind, and so I'm going to give them an inkling that maybe something's off.
I think, though, that might also just be him being like, well, I can't try and push them towards... there's no reason for me to push them back towards Kholinar. Like, he's like, there's no logical argument I can make for, no, go attack Kholinar. Like, I think he might just be like, well, this is the way the cookie crumbles, and so I'm going to support them. Because I'm going to betray them either way.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I do think that... I don't know. I guess it depends how smart Taravangian is that day.
Yeah,
but
true.
Right? Like, he is an intelligent character a lot of the time, which just makes me feel like this has to be intentional.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
The other side of it is that we do get Shallan getting to go to the Honor's lasting integrity, their city, because they're like, well, we need someone to go there. And it's Sigil that brings it up.
Yeah, Sigil's like, hey, so...
Sigil sort of Jar Jar Binks is this plan.
the Spren... My Spren says that, like, maybe we could get more Honor Spren. But, like, we gotta be, like, real careful about this. Because, because we kind of, like, murdered a bunch of them. And Dalinar's like, but the fate of the world is at stake. And he's like... Yeah, but you guys murdered a bunch of that.
Well, betrayed them. They didn't murder them. Like, it was.
Well, it just it did kill them.
Yeah, but you betrayed them.
Yeah,
like your nation. And so he's like,
that was so
can't
long
go because they're mad at us.
Yeah.
edge dancers, and Lift is like, I'll go, and they're like, nope,
Nope,
not you.
absolutely not. Nope.
Definitely not you.
Literally anyone else.
And so Shallan gets her reason to go. And she takes Adolin, because Adolin is really wanting to go back to Shadesmar. He wants to see his other lady. And we get them... Those are the two plans. Half the team is going to go to Amul. The other half of the team is going to go to Shadesmar. And Kaladin and Szeth are going to be in Urithiru getting attacked.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because without Urithiru, they're fucked.
And I think Renarin stays as well, probably.
I don't know where Renarin's going to go.
No idea.
Renarin might go to Shadesmar.
He just kind of goes with the flow. No, because he's not going because his spren is corrupted, remember? And they were like, ooh, that's probably bad.
Oh, interesting. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Then we get to the interludes. Interlude 1 is Sylphrena. Oh my gosh. A little Syl POV. No Kaladin, just Syl.
Just Syl being the most ADHD personified ADHD that ever ADHD'd.
Yes, she is.
I was like, oh. It happens frequently where I'm like, I don't think I have ADHD. And then I read this and I'm like,
fuck. Yeah. Syl has a lovely little conversation with Cord while she's getting super excited because a storm's coming. And she gets distracted while looking at the shard plate. And then she does call the shard plate a corpse in a way, which is very interesting.
But she's like, I like this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's different.
Yeah, I have a feeling the shard plates don't have a spren on the other side.
Oh.
Like, they don't have a blacked out eye.
Because she says she got a feeling of, oh, maybe this shard plate. No, shard plate are not fabrials.
I don't think any shard plate has a spren on the other side the way that shard blades do. And that's why they can't be summoned.
Oh.
I feel like shard plate is going to be revealed to be like spren molting something into the real world when the radiance is the fourth ideal.
Gotcha. Okay.
Although no, because the shard plate is summoned in the memories when Dalinar's in the past.
But only for radiance, in the same way that they can summon their blades.
But the shard plate gets left behind as well.
Yeah, but there was no shard plate that fell in the field when all the shard blades fell.
Because they weren't wearing any. They were walking up but
that's what I mean. Like all the spren that were there turned into blades, which means that the plate has to be something different.
But it can be summoned. I don't know. We'll find out eventually. Someone will say they're fucking fourth ideal eventually. Kaladin. And we'll get there. She fucking parties it out in the High Storm. She's like Mon Mothma in Andor
like a fucking
season 2.
rave. Yeah.
The world around her sad because Kaladin's sad. Yeah. And she's like, hey, Storm Daddy, can you
make me depressed?
Give me depression so that I can understand Kaladin better.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's not the solution to this. Just be his friend. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like Dalinar could, but like I can't. And so she's like, okay, cool. And then she goes to Dalinar. She's like, hey, Dalinar, can you please use the bond to give me depression so that I can help Kaladin? And Dalinar's like, what is my life?
Yeah.
I used to be a man.
He's like, maybe you can help Kaladin by relating to him in ways that, like, you felt sad. And she was like, well, yeah, I felt sad when I lost my bond last time, so maybe I can help.
Yeah, you can help him without us having to give you depression.
Yeah. The next interlude is Ja'anat. Very cool. We reacted to this, and you fucking loved this chapter. I loved it too. But like this perspective, this conversation with Odium, all of it was so very cool. Like,
yeah. What kind of spren do you think she corrupted and sent to Mraize? And why do you think he wants specifically a corrupted spren?
Because maybe they're connected to Odium in a way if they're corrupted. I don't know.
Or maybe the corruption will let him will be part of how he gets Stormlight off of Roshar.
Oh.
Like a normal spren can't get that far away from Roshar in the cognitive realm, but a corrupted spren isn't tied to Roshar in the same way.
Yeah.
And so it let him like take a spren somewhere else because of Ja'anat's corruption. That might be it. I also love that she sends 2 wind spren and as like decoys because she knows Odium's gonna fucking kill them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's clearly some kind of like sentient spren because it speaks to her in the way that the like wind spren don't. So it's probably one of the different like spren of like one of the orders.
Yeah.
But I
no, it's definitely gonna make him radiant. For sure.
Raise?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. What would be the point if it didn't?
I just thought it was there to give the...
No, he's going to become like Renarin.
Oh.
But a different order, but like a corrupted... He's going to have like corrupted Windrunner powers or something.
Okay.
I don't know which one. Maybe, what is Shallan? Oh my god, all these fucking names.
Oh, a Lightweaver.
Lightweaver, thank you.
Yeah.
He'll become like a corrupted Lightweaver. Mm-hmm. Something.
Yeah. Interlude 3 is Taravangian is like, we're not gonna make it.
There's a bunch of interesting stuff here, right? Like he's like, the diagram's done. We did it. Great job.
Yeah.
Go team.
He's like, every step further away from the diagram we get, it's less accurate, so we're just gonna call it now.
Well,
I'm done.
He's
I'm
also
out.
succeeded. Like Carbranth is gonna be safe.
Yeah.
He believes. Obviously,
Yeah.
fuck. I don't know if I buy that, but
yeah.
no, he thinks he's succeeded. He thinks he pulled it off.
Yeah.
And he might have. He might not have. I don't know.
Well,
I don't think he
sure
knows,
we'll find out.
I think he's just hoping that Odium doesn't fuck him over. But yeah, he says a very tearful goodbye to everybody. And his people are like, well, I want to come die with you. And he's like, no, don't do that. Live.
Yeah.
Go live in Carbranth and enjoy what we fought for.
Yeah.
Because I can't. I
This
have
is my
to go
gift
be
to you. Yeah.
And
someone's got to take the fall for this.
it was genuinely kind of sweet.
It was
For something
in a
that's
weird
like
way.
so evil.
I know.
I was kind of like, oh, I'm on board. I'm a little on board for this.
Well, it's like, what makes someone evil? Is someone evil because they will hurt like multitudes of people to like help a select few? Or is it more evil to let the people that you love suffer to save a larger number? Like, you know.
Oh, to maybe, you know what I mean? Like, because there's no guarantee that he would have saved a larger number. I don't know. I think that Taravangian will survive to get to make that decision about whether or not what he did was for the right. I think that he will see some of the consequences of his actions, and we'll get to see, even if he does die in this book, I think that we'll see him reflect upon why and how and it all before he goes.
Yeah.
I think that we will get that POV. I don't think that this is the last time we'll have his POV in this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't buy that. I think that there's going to be more Taravangian here than we maybe expect.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's definitely possible.
And then that's the book for this week.
That's not the book.
But for this week, like
that is this chunk. Yeah.
Officially, Sam says the Taravangian interlude is a man attending his own funeral. It's fascinating. Yeah, it really is. And also, he's like, there was never going to be a pyre for me. There's never going to be. It was always going to end like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to betray them.
Yeah. I'm very excited to see the last thing, integrity. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be very cool.
I just want to spend more time with Raboniel.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, the Venli Leshwi stuff is fascinating. Yeah. I want more of the Singer stuff.
How do they have faith in their own plans when they know that they're slowly going mad? Right? Like one of the things that I think that one of the things that's most interesting about the listeners for me right now is that, well, and even Leshwi was like, she went mad. Raboniel, why is she sane again? Mm-hmm. Can they get their sanity back? And what does it mean if they can? That's an interesting question, right? But also, how can they trust their own decision-making if they're slipping? And like, at what point do the few start to question their own ability to do this?
I think it's a really interesting commentary.
On what, Clarus?
On the Supreme Court.
Oh, interesting. That's not where I expect you to go, but yeah.
Just it's a bunch of old people who are at the end of their lives and maybe have been around too long in positions of power that they've lost touch with reality.
Well, but, and I'm not going to either sides this. I'm going to say both sides, right?
For sure.
I think that Donald Trump is too old to be president in the same way that I think Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are too old to be in
and that Joe Biden
House and Congress. Joe Biden was too old. Like, I think that there's a point where politicians whose actions they will not live to see the consequences of don't have as... And look, I know you're like, well, Nancy Pelosi cares about her grandkids. Yeah, sure, I get that. But like...
If you say so.
There's something so depressing about the age of the people, and this is more of an American problem than I see elsewhere.
Well,
in,
except
Western
in
society, but
except in countries where once you are the leader of a country,
and that's a different problem.
Stay the leader.
But like, yeah, it is fucking Chuck Schumer, man. Oh man, watching him like read statements, like say what you want about Trump, at least the man will stand up and fucking like look at the camera. Chuck Schumer barely can get through he's just looking down at a podium. I want to, you're just like, gee, oh my god, dude, retire.
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell with his freezing last year, where he would just stand, and you're like, retire, just fucking retire.
Yeah.
Let people retire. We need to make retirement normal again for fucking politicians. Don't be there forever. Go home. Enjoy. Do a bunch of shit for the world. Be a good person.
And
then
your
go
life.
enjoy it. And let younger people do the next good shit. It drives me fucking crazy. And it is an interesting commentary. Like Nancy Pelosi should have retired 10 fucking years ago. I will die on the hill of the United States would not be in the situation it's in now if they had term limits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you couldn't just fucking vegetate in your seat until you die.
We have term limits on the presidency. Why not everything else?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, we realized it was a good idea for some people, but someone somewhere was like, but what if I get to stay here forever?
To bring this back to the book.
Yes.
The listeners are suffering from, or the viewers are suffering from the same problem. They've been doing this for too long.
Yeah.
They've lost sight of what it's actually for.
Yes, and Leshwi is the only one in the room who can acknowledge that.
Yes, and the more they acknowledge that and the more they dive into that, the more interested I'm going to be in their politics.
Yeah.
Because it is fascinating to have a command structure where it's like they have so much wisdom and so much age and so much reason to be in charge, and yet they're still wrong because of the wisdom and the age and the reasons that they're the right people to be in charge. Like, the tension between those two ideas is fascinating.
Yeah.
And I think Brandon Sanderson's is employing it in a really good way.
Yeah.
I like this book so far. I think, and I said this in the audiobook reaction, so I want to mention it here because I don't want to like leave it off. This book feels unfocused to me. Like more so.
Oh, I thought I convinced you otherwise.
No, you've convinced me a little bit, but I still do feel like it is unfocused. I feel like more so than, and not in a way that ruins it. I'm not saying that it's like the worst thing ever. It just feels like there's a few too many ideas in it, and I'm enjoying it. I think it's very good. I'm not enjoying it quite as much as I did. I like the beginning of Words of Radiance or the beginning of Oathbringer. I think I enjoyed the beginning of those two books more than this.
Yeah.
I'm still having a great time with it. And I think part one is very good. It's very interesting. There's a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
I just think that there's a couple too many ideas, and some of the exposition-y stuff feels like exposition.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it was always handled in a way that felt relevant to the world, but like felt relevant to the book. And the tension between those two ideas isn't as interesting to me as the tensions he's introduced between ideas and the politics.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm into it. I'm having a good time right now. I like the book, and I definitely think like, I'm very intrigued to see where things are going. While also like this first part, I was like, oh, this was a lot. This was a lot on a series that's already a lot.
Yeah.
And I hope that we can find some focus. I hope that in Navani and Kaladin's Home Alone section, we find this section that very much might not be in the book at all. Because Navani might go with Dalinar. Like, Navani might not even be there.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Because she might have to go fly the ship. So, like, I might be inventing a plotline that won't happen. But I hope the book can find some focus and a little bit... I almost want the book to narrow its scope a little bit. Just because sometimes the whiplash between chapters of like, and now we're talking about something completely different. Yeah, it was noticeable to me in Rhythm of War so far. But those individual scenes so far have all been very like my low is that I feel like it's maybe a little overstuffed. But like all of the stuffing individually is good, so it's not really that much of a complaint right now. Yeah, because I think that I think that overall I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
We had a whole discussion about it in the like chapter reaction where I don't really think that the book is unfocused. I think that everything does seem to be pulling towards a central theme, even though the people are kind of spread out because the world is so vast. But like I'm very, very, very much enjoying this book so far. I'm really happy to be back in Stormlight Archive. It's not that I didn't like Mistborn Era 2, but I have missed this.
Yeah.
Like getting back into it and refamiliarizing myself with it. I'm like, oh yeah. Like I'm like, I want to re-listen to the first 3 books and all that jazz.
Part of me kind of wished we'd done Lost Metal just so that we could be done with Mistborn. Just because I do kind of want to be done with it.
Yeah, I get that.
But I agree with you. I like this world is huge in a way that I really enjoy being in.
Yeah.
Especially after Oathbringer. Like I'm so fond of Oathbringer.
Yeah. But we did a lot of reactions this week. Remember that reactions will not be going up on the Nerdy Nightly anymore. They will be
that was the last one.
On Nerdy Wordy Book Club here from now on. And I just want to say I went to go check because I wanted to say thank you to our 129 members here on this channel.
Already?
129 members.
Holy shit. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you guys. And obviously if you are over on Patreon as well, that means a lot to us. There's other things there. It's not really about like it's not really about where, but I was a little bit worried that moving the book club to its own channel like would be difficult and kind of like I don't know. I was just very, very worried about it, but we have 129 members here on Nerdy Wordy Book Club.
Thanks
and
so much, everybody.
That's really incredible. It means a lot to us. So thank you.
Yeah, and bonus book club on Wednesday, we will be covering
Iron Flame. Yeah.
Bonus book club the following week. Don't know what day yet. I will be covering Will of the Many, part 1 of 3. And then we'll go from there. Well, I'll probably do all 3 parts and then the 4th week of that. So we'll probably have bonus book club every week for the next 5 weeks. Or 4 weeks. Or 5. Because we'll have Iron Flame next week. And then we'll have Will of the Many 1, Will of the Many 2, Will of the Many 3, followed by Onyx Storm.
Oh, and then we're also going to get into Kushiel's Chosen. So
Well, we wanted to finish the 3 Empyrean books, and then we'll get into Kushiel's.
Yeah.
We'll have 2 book clubs a week. Sometimes it'll be just me. But 2 live book clubs a week on this channel for the next 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes. If there are any chapter reactions you want us to do for that, reach out and ask. We might not be able to accommodate, but we will try. Yes. So definitely reach out and ask us in the Discord before or talk to the mods and we'll see what we can pull off.
As soon as we are finished with this live, commissions for next week's Rhythm of War will be closed. So hopefully you've already talked to Arzu about that if you have wanted to commission that. Thank you to everyone who has been commissioning chapter reactions. It's been very fun. I hope you enjoyed my Get Ready With Me.
Yeah.
Where instead of painting minis, I did my makeup.
Yeah, it was fun.
Felt like a TikTok live almost.
And audiobook reactions will go up earlier in the week this week. Sorry they were all kind of yesterday, except we were on the road. We were
away,
And we did film the 1 chapter 12 one, but we didn't love the layout. Also, the layout for those is going to be changing. We're not going to do those on our reaction set anymore because we want to be able to paint minis better and have... be a little bit more seated forward for them. So those are going to be filmed on a version of our D&D set from now on. So get excited this week, our first audiobook reactions with our new look.
Maybe. Yeah, this week or next week.
No, it'll be this week.
Okay. We got to do some... We have a lot
It won't be a permanent thing. That's going to be a moving set, so...
No, I know. We just... Yeah, there's just...
We have audiobook reactions we have to do, though, so...
Yeah, there's just a lot to get done.
Do we... I want to say, before we go, I want to say a huge thank you to the people who commissioned last week's chapter reactions. That was Code 76... Kano, Scuff Dandy. Code 76, Kano, and Scuff Dandy, thank you so much for commissioning chapters last week. And this week, we're going to be doing chapter 20, chapter 25, and chapter 29. Nice. 2 by Code 76, 1 by Kano. So thank you to you guys for commissioning. Very excited to dive back in. We're reacting to the first chapter back. So
sick.
That will hopefully go up soon.
Yeah.
As always...
But we have to rebuild the set first.
Hilo?
Yeah,
this is a section where we commiserate over each other's lows, celebrate each other's highs. It's how my family fixed our relationships when my parents got married. So, Clarice, what's your high?
My high of this section, it is very difficult. There's so many that we've talked about where I've just been like, especially in the reactions, like y'all picked really great reaction chapters with banger moments, but I'm not gonna lie, when Yasna came in and was like, yeah, I'm ending slavery, I was like, fucking thank God.
Yeah.
Like, I think that just was such a... It's hard. It's hard to top that. There are some other great moments, especially with like Kaladin and Lyren and like Kaladin and Adolin, and some great interpersonal relationship highs. But in terms of like the series and the books, Yasna is the queen that we all deserve. And
well, and I do love.
I love her.
I love that she says that ending slavery is pragmatic. She's like, no, this is not just an emotional thing. This is the best thing.
Yes.
And I agree with her.
Yes, it is the best thing.
I'm sure you're all shocked.
What's your low?
Just that I feel like it's a lot. I feel like it's a little bit overstuffed. I think that trimming out some of the Cosmere stuff and like I almost think like Secret History, the Kelsier book, is the better way to introduce some of this Cosmere stuff than to do it sort of in like an exposition dump to Kaladin that he doesn't care about.
Yeah, but then it's like, well, to read this book, you also have to read these books.
But I wouldn't mind if I didn't have to know any of the Cosmere stuff to, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't mind if that was just not important.
Yeah.
It does, I don't hate it because I do find it interesting. I just do kind of sometimes feel like it is the least immersive these books are to me. And so they're my least favorite scenes in the Stormlight Archive.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my low was Kaladin's conversation with Relaine.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I was like, oh, it's poorly written. I was just like, oh my God, Kaladin just made me, I just wanted to fucking just slap him.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
I wanted to just be like, Kaladin, you're an idiot.
Yeah. What is your high?
Fuck, man, I don't know. There's so many great...
I know.
I think it is...
I know you love the Ja'anat moment, but there's a lot of great ones.
But I do think it is Leshwy's... Venli getting to see some real divisions in the fused political ideals.
Yeah.
In that, I just love that chapter. I thought Leshwy undermining the Pursuer and the way she played Raboniel to get Venli into Raboniel's as a spy, and I thought the entirety of that the Singer chapter was deeply, deeply fascinating and handled in a way that I was like, oh, I would be so down for more of this.
Yeah.
Since Way of Kings, or not since Way of Kings, because they were not really characters, but no, they were. Since Way of Kings, I've been like, I want more of their point of view on all this. I've been asking for that this whole series, and every time we get it, it is some of the more interesting stuff in the book.
Yeah.
Partially because it is the more fantastical side, right? Like, their political system is... The monarchical structure of all the human races or countries are a little close to real. They're things that have existed, right? Kings and queens and lords and ladies. Racism. But the fused, by being this like fantasy government, there's just something about the fantasy of that I find so deeply fascinating. I would just love to spend more time with them.
Yeah.
Every time we're with them, I'm just so invested. I really care. The way their plot lines are deepening my understanding of them and complicating the fact that the fused don't have this one ideal.
Yeah.
And that they don't all agree is, I love it. I'm really into the listener singer side of this narrative.
Yeah.
And, I feel bad for them. They're caught between a god and a hard place in a way that I can empathize with. Right?
Yeah.
And officially Sam says the singers are Brandon's Aiel. I get that. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I just wish that they weren't sort of like destined to be evil by the fact that they are in the position they're in. Like, I want to see them start to break out of that more. And obviously, like, Relaine isn't, and there are examples of that, but
yeah,
more POVs with the listeners would be my preferred way to move forward.
Yeah,
just because I find them so fascinating.
No, I do as well. I love all of their stuff.
Yeah.
Y'all, we will be streaming this weekend.
Yeah, I'll be playing Candela. No,
Claire
Obscure.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
And we're going to be playing Sunderfolk on Sunday. So if you didn't get enough of our bullshit, you can get more of it.
Yeah, lots of lives coming up. Then Iron Flame Wednesday. Well, I'll probably stream Claire Obscure Monday or Tuesday. We'll probably have some extra.
I've got you on the schedule for Wednesday, so.
Yeah, but we're doing Iron Flame, so I might move that to like Tuesday after Osteo or something.
Yeah, we're going to have to change that.
And then, so Wednesdays will be bonus book club, I guess, for the next bit. And then, oh my God. And then next week, what are the chapters we're covering next week?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't. You probably got the photo
I can pull that
there
up.
somewhere. Yeah, thanks for a wonderful book club back, y'all. We're very excited to be here for several weeks and just like really like get our grubby little hands in this book.
Rhythm of War, week 3. We're doing chapters 20 through 32.
Love it.
Yeah. So if you like the video, like, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave mean comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is
Yasna.
Yasna.
No more slavery.
Yeah. If you want to follow us on the internet, you can. I'm at nerdynightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
Do something nerdy tonight. Smut corner. Clarus.
Yasna and Hoyd.
Yasna found out that Hoyd was immortal.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, I have some things I've always wanted to try.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if a normal human could survive them. You ready to get weird?
Survive them.
You ready to get weird?
Yeah.
He's immortal. She can do whatever she wants.
Uh-huh.
They're going to do some fucked up shit.
Does she literally sit on his face until he dies? Like...
Ooh.
I mean, a lot... I don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Why? What did you have in mind?
No, that was...
Oh, you were like ready to get weird and I was like, oh, you have an idea.
Nothing that I want to say. I don't want the video to get taken off the internet.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Or for the audience to know how my brain works.
Yeah. But it's also think... like Hoyd's lived so long that he needs to try new shit as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shallan definitely fucked the shit out of Adolin when he came back from horseback riding, right? Because he would have been
so sweaty.
Stinky.
Yeah. And she likes that.
I'm not gonna. I think Shallan might be like it's a fetish I've never understood.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who like to smell stinky feet, I feel like that might be Shallan's thing.
Maybe. Yeah.
But only Adolin's.
Musk. Yeah. Yeah, not my thing. I like it clean.
I'm a let's shower and then have sex kind of guy.
And then shower after. Yeah.
That's called autism. Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think that is common among
Oh.
Yeah.
I figured that was more
I read a Reddit post about it one time, so.
Well, Reddit is frequently...
it's like my husband is autistic and he always wants me to shower before we have sex. And she's like, is he like grossed out by me or something? And all the comments were like, no.
Humans are just dirty.
Yeah, that's actually not that weird.
When you're getting your mouths up in places, it's like, well, although other like mouths are also dirty. So like kissing is actually like kind of gross when you think about it.
Arzu says, do it in the shower and save water. Arzu, I am so charmed that you think that we have a shower big enough for me to do something like that in.
We used to.
We used to.
I
miss that shower. Yeah. But like there's no world where I'm having sex in our shower.
You're too lanky.
Just too big.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's so poorly put in that I don't. If I put leverage on anything, it'll probably just break.
Yeah.
We can't wait to move, y'all. We have to move before winter, or else we'll freeze to death again. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Hoyd and Yasna are doing some crazy shit.
I feel like Syl fucked some Windspren in that storm. I feel like it's just kind of
like
a
took some ecstasy
orgy.
and was like, woo! Yeah.
Yeah,
it could be that.
Spren sex has got to be weird. Anyway, do something. Bye.
Bye,
we'll see you
guys.
next week.